Cool.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Saturday night sci-fi shadow chat. And thanks to our good friend Justin, as in nobody's perfect, Justin. We're going to do a free-for-all. It is the end of the month. We're all, as I can tell from the chat, stuffed to the gills. I don't know about you guys. I had some really good chilaquiles tonight, and I got no more room for food till like Monday.
I got a couple ribeyes that I'm cooking up. So about halfway through the stream, I'll probably, blank out while I'm trying to cook them up. So
I made ribs. I made ribs for Turkey Day. Everybody knows. Yeah. No surprise. I ate 2 ribs. I mean, they were baby back ribs, and they were just freaking massive. Just I don't know. I got the right end of the ribs or whatever. But I made so many sides that I just gorged on green bean casserole, deviled eggs, baked beans, all the weird stuff that you make, this time of year. And
well, my son, he ate the pies that we brought back, and I've been making him finish off the turkey because I don't really like turkey. So, so I had to.
But you said pies as in plural. It's only been what, Friday? It's been 2 days, and he ate pies.
Well, there was a pumpkin pie and there was a key lime pie, and so we took about 3 slices of each, 2 or 3 slices of each, and so he finished off those slices.
What's that PCG?
Well, he finished those off on Thursday, so it wasn't even. We took back 4 slices of pie after he had some, and he finished.
We got a banana cream pie. It's still in the freezer. Haven't touched it.
Okay.
Yeah, we were so lucky this year, despite everything that's gone on.
Wait a minute, just for you, Shadow. I got this. We'll see if I can do it.
Oh, dude. If you're in the mood for a mystery in the classic sense with sorcery and high magic and just the dialogue is some of the best. Roger was just an absolutely amazing individual, and the characters with what he can do in 190 pages, most authors can't get done in 500.
Well, wait a minute. Look at this.
A good long time ago, but
look at it. 1 through 10. So it's the whole thing right there. I was like, all right.
I'll be honest. The second 5 books aren't as good as the first 5, but
it was only like $16 or something for all
nice.
of it.
Let's say hi, Jack.
What's it?
Oh, okay. You don't like that format, huh?
I don't.
Okay.
So I think that it normally goes for $28, but on Amazon it was like 16 or 17. I was like, okay, that's worth it.
Yeah, at last count, I had 32 people I had handed my copy of the 9 Princes to, and they all read at least the first 5 books. And everybody, I don't know anybody who didn't love it. But these days, mind you, I read it back in the 80s.
Sure.
I was sick as a dog. I had asthma, really bad asthma. I couldn't get off the couch. But my bookstore friend, this lady worked, she had a bookstore right across the street from my house. I mean, literally like 200 yards from my house. It was the greatest bookstore ever. She called me up one day. Mind you, I was younger than Jackie, and said, something came in I know you're going to love.
Oh, cool.
And it was the first 4 books in a like a cardboard box set. The 5th book hadn't even come out yet, I guess. Or when this box set came out, it hadn't come out. And she said, I saved it for you because I think this is right up your alley. And I went and I could barely make it across the street, I had to jaywalk and whatever, which, and I went over there and, she could tell I was all out of breath and everything. She said, here, I know you're not feeling well, we'll work something out later, because there was one of those awesome bookstores that you could bring in books and get store credit, and then
So just make sure you get demonetized or whatever we're doing here. I also got, the Disney favorite, the Complete Tales of Uncle Remus.
Oh,
And if anyone can read the story, let's see, what does that say? The Wonderful Tar Baby story.
mhm. I saw Song of the South in the theater as a kid.
Yeah.
And right, Derek, the good old days. And just so you know, this. Hold on, if I can get him out.
Oh, cool. The little duck. Ah,
This was one of Jackie's favorite toys. Chewie actually tried to eat his brains,
oh.
and Mom had to fix it. But we were putting the studio together, and we saw this, and it just brought back so many fun memories. Because I would, do the sort of puppet thing, and
Sure. That's awesome.
and so Mr. Duck had to have a spot here in the studio. Yeah, you guys get to see my fat ass, and Mr. Duck speaks fluent Spanish. I don't, however.
No, I am. Yeah, I know. The too many people.
Mr. Duck rocks.
Oh wow. Yeah, they.
Mr. Duck. Elle was noticing why is the duck waving at the flag?
Oh yeah.
So that was something I got for my son. I also got him a solar controller, which is what he wanted for Christmas, and this, and then we'll see what else he gets for Christmas. He already knows what he gets, and all has he. I'm like, okay, tell me what you want if it's reasonable, and he gets pancakes. So Cousin T pancakes is his next thing that I'm waiting for to come in, so he can have those for also Christmas.
Nice. Yeah, I did some shopping today. HD, you want to pop in? The link's up there. If you need a new one, let me know. Anonymous, sorry. Welcome to the show. I saw you earlier over on Brian's show. Nice to meet you. Brian's a great guy. I knew the second I just saw his name, in the chat. I'm like, this sounds like one of us. Let's get him in here. So, Mac, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Just checking because you were typing and you could have just, hey, I want to say something.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt y'all.
Nah, you know what? We all talk over each other. Our friend Bo, he likes a little more structured show, and I don't mind. But I do the Hungar show all the time, and I do some other shows, and sometimes we just all talking at once. It's not quite like T-shirt is just
a little more structured show.
Sounds like someone's got a couple of things open. Welcome to the show, Holy Diver. Derek, I was really fond of, my favorite was Robin Hood because it was the first one I ever saw. Then Sleepy Hollow, and then later on, decades later, I saw Fantasia. So those are some of my faves. Hungar, what are you doing? Get your ass in here. Oh, he's already there. Hungar Claus.
What are you talking about? I'm
How
saying,
you doing today, Hungar?
okay, yeah, have you guys ever seen that big burly Russian dude named Vlad who dresses up like an e-girl and goes?
No,
he
I
goes
should avoid that.
people? I just met that dude on Omegle. I was doing my whole Santa Claus thing, and he popped up. I sat and talked to him, got a picture of him with him, and
That's
all that.
awesome.
Shit. It's hilarious.
Well, you have to send us a link. I will go hang out with the guy. I know one. I don't know if he's Russian. Peanut Hawk. I listened to him recently. He's kind of funny.
No, he dresses like a chick. He dresses like an e-girl.
You met
And
a
he
fat
looks like an
Russian
e-girl.
boy that dresses like a little girl.
His wife helps him with his makeup, and then he'll be sitting there and he'll be like, "Ooh," and then he'll be like, "I am mighty Russian man," and he'll flex and have arms like freaking Hulk Hogan.
Hungar, that's terrifying.
It is, but he's cool.
I kudos, man. I probably would have ran.
Yeah, the dude in the orange shirt is Holy Diver. You can't see it because I've got somebody's comment marked, so I'll fix that so you guys can get everybody's name in here.
How is everyone doing today?
Fantastic.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Think she'll
I'm
be
going.
okay.
I'm going to present this to you, Shadwell.
Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me get it up.
That's what she said.
Wow.
You actually look so cool. What the fuck?
So do you? I like.
Yeah, the banks. Bro, do you play in System of a Down by any chance?
I'm very intrigued. I don't know what your real voice is. So now you're confusing.
Yeah, makes sense.
Is there a third?
What the hell?
That's the only one.
Pretty much.
Not the cap.
Nah, do the other one again.
Who is the big Russian man?
Why are you doing that? What's the point?
I don't know. It just confuses people and it's funny.
Has anyone said that that second voice was hot?
Not really.
What if I told you I was?
Yeah, not my thing.
Then I would give you an my brother.
So confused.
Why, my brother? I'm just a cute anime girl.
This guy's heart is literally breaking before our
I'm
eyes.
just a cute anime girl. I just met him
Where did you meet him?
on Omegle.
Oh, online. I thought you met him physically.
Yeah,
No,
that's,
check it out.
that's terrifying. I need more drink. I'll be right back.
All right, now
Check it out.
I can just say
All
it's
right.
not my thing. So I'm like, okay.
Tacos is closed for the evening.
No, it's not like I'm like, ooh, it's so hot. It's like, nah, he's messing with me.
I don't know. I'm getting a little bit of tea.
And I can get behind somebody messing with people.
No, I understand that. It's just not my thing. I just don't find that. Like,
Terry, you were not murdered.
Well, how you
I'm
doing,
head
Gary?
home tomorrow.
Oh, let Hungar have this Russian dude. So what's his deal? Does he get online and annoy E-Thoughts? Is that his whole
He
spiel?
gets online and he annoys thirsties.
Thirsties, okay.
The thirsters get on there and like, oh, you're so hot. Maybe he's like, I am strong Russian man.
That
He
is
belongs. He should be at the front. What is he doing
Oh.
at home?
Speaking of cute anime girls, what's up, James L?
Hey Raven, how you doing?
It's a boy.
That is
Boy Diver, how was Rumble today, bro?
I am riddled with technical difficulties. I've updated my system. I've fiddled with the settings on both the PC physically and the software. I did a test stream before I was watching Weird, and then his stream cut out. And the test stream, I'm getting one shutdown from OBS a minute. And if I, so I did about 38 minutes today. I didn't do anything major. It's up there if you want to watch it, but OBS was literally cutting out every, I want to say 3 minutes, just stopping, and then it was skipping forward ahead. Ruined all my jokes, ruined everything. So,
Hey, have you seen my mini yet?
yeah, he showed it to me. It looks pretty good. Nerds made that for you, correct? Or did he make it?
Nerd made it for me.
Oh, that's nice of her.
Bruce Lombardo's already got one painted up like a cloud giant.
Yeah, he's purple, so I like to think it kind of reminds me of Grimtooth, except it's purple.
Does this mean
well,
there's
you know,
gonna be
if Hungar
like
holds
a
his
Hungar
breath,
dream house?
I'm going to hold my breath. I turn purple. Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
I certainly did.
It was mediocre. That's all I can say.
I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
I just
No,
finished
not
off the
really.
last of the dark meat turkey today.
I look. I hate saying it. If I, the problem is when you're going to really see people, which is fine. I have no problems with that. But when it comes to the food, I'm like, I cook far better than everybody else. So.
Same here, and I'm not even that good a cook.
I went to my mama's house and she cooks better than me.
Well, my mother does not. So.
That sounds harsh.
That's
I don't even
why
know.
I am the cook that I am. My parents, because they were in wheelchairs, couldn't reach the stove, so it was really hard to do a lot of things back in the 70s. So I learned at an early age, and I learned that they couldn't cook.
Oh yeah.
My mom made fresh baked bread today. Some rolls.
See, fresh baked bread is good, but man, everyone brings in these sides. I'm like, ugh, green beans, potato.
My grandma could.
Omen, are you
potato
sure you're
could cook
American?
if you,
I'm starting to wonder.
Sweet,
if you like
sweet potato.
if you like Great Depression, if you like Great Depression food like tripe or offal, like my grandma was a great cook. But I soon discovered that you don't have to eat all the weird organs of the animal. You can just have a sandwich.
James,
I
you're
would like
losing
to
weight.
I would like to try haggis at some point
organs are
just to say
gross.
I've had it.
James has lost weight. Can anybody else notice that?
I'll find it. I've just mislaid it.
Well, I'll be back in a minute.
No worries, man.
I mean,
It's always
keep
in
your
the
spot
last
warm.
place you look.
I mean, you have to realize most of the time I'm eating carnivore, so I'm eating, so I'm eating
Only
mostly meat, and I'm like steaks and everything else. So it's, that, and so eating anything else, it's like, well, this is okay. Give me tacos,
I eat what I-
enchiladas.
Thanksgiving, man. I totally went off the reservation this weekend.
Oh,
I eat what I.
It'll take
I
me
eat
a
what I
week to
want,
get back
but
into keto.
The stress of living with a millennial woman actually keeps me quite healthy. So, the constant fight or flight response of
Yeah, I can dig it.
responding to like Jezebel articles,
Oh.
like that explain why it's actually your turn to do the leaf blowing. Like that keeps me very fit.
Oh yes. Well, you know what? I spent way too much money this weekend, so I'm about ready to spend another. I'm going to spend a little bit more, and then it's going to probably be cut off. I need to get a scythe. So once I get the scythe, I think I'll be in pretty good shape.
Let's see. I ate some of the sides. The stuffing was really on point at my sister's house this year. Like the most on point I'd ever seen it. I must have eaten a gallon of stuffing. And
nice.
So what type of stuffing did she make?
No, her husband made it. He's a cook.
Oh well, there you go.
She made a pie from scratch that I stuck my face in because I noticed it wasn't the popular one.
Oh yeah.
So I took my whole face, just shoved it into the pie because what you might as well burn one complete pie because there's always that pie that nobody eats. Everybody,
yes.
There's the one that's just a no sell on the pie. So I took the liberty of taking the one with the graham cracker crust and just shoving my face in it, ruined the whole pie.
Graham cracker? You ruined the graham cracker crust? No.
No, it wasn't a seller. Everybody was eating all the other pies. Somebody had one piece of that pie. I come by 20 minutes later, shoved my face in it.
So what type of pie was it?
It was chocolate cream.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. See, for us,
that's no loss.
The pie that wasn't eaten was the apple pie.
Hey, nerd.
So yeah, the apple
Funny
pie
nerd.
was there.
Hey, Nathan, what's happening, brother?
So that was, and then let's see here. There was the sweet potato. They have this sweet potato dish that they make, and it's kind of like it's like a pudding itself. But
is that like the sweet potato souffle?
They serve it with marshmallows.
Yeah. That did not go over well.
That one was on point too. I didn't have any of the green bean stuff.
He ate an entire apple pie today. Wow.
The average American consumes 4,500 calories in that meal.
I don't know. Let's see.
Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah, I ate turkey, which was okay. I ate a little bit of stuffing and the mashed potatoes. The mashed potatoes didn't last. And but you know what my son normally eats? Mashed potatoes, yogurt, and then whatever, meat we have. So I'm making him finish the turkey. He has to finish off the turkey here.
Yogurt and mashed potatoes sound like a terrible thing that you can eat.
Well, no.
Only if you're in a like free falling elevator like immediately after. Like that's got to be mix it all together.
No. We don't mix them
reaction.
together. They're just separated. He goes to one and then he eats the other. But yes.
When it's Christmas here, it's like always invariably a really hot day. So Australian Christmas dinner is like often like seafood and salad and stuff like that. But
Also,
there are always like one or two Anglo hangers on that like, despite the 40-degree weather, they'll like put the oven on anyway and like still bash out a turkey and like everyone's sweating and eating it, but it's tradition, you know. Like.
I thought you're supposed to, you know, I thought it was supposed to be like emu and kangaroo.
Emu.
Well,
Emu is a sampler.
I heard that kangaroos
turkeys aren't
have
made
a
about that.
temper, and that if they get close to you, you have to bat them over the head with something so they don't shit test you.
What, turkeys?
Yeah, you got to do that same tactic as like a bear. Like you got to scare them.
Oh,
you got to
scare
scare
the
them.
hell out of
Scare
them.
mini
Huh?
bear here.
Yeah.
Please don't try.
No, no. For the most part, though, is we're doing that. But no, I mean, my son normally eats mashed potatoes, and the sausage went over pretty well. The sausage that they had, we finished that off with the jalapeno sausage and beef. My son likes just the plain summer sausage. I was like, okay, that's good. But yeah, it's
Summer sausage, really good.
Just give me a good barbecue. That's all I want. You know, just give me, you know, just wrap something
Surely
up.
it's all about.
18 hours.
Surely it's all about the sandwiches the next day. Like surely it's all about getting like 2 or 3 days of turkey sandwiches.
Oh God,
Handy.
that's why you
My
should stop
family
paying
devoured an
cranberry
entire
sauce.
bird. I have like a little plate of turkey. I guess they picked right this time, and they devoured the entire bird.
Oh, that's good. My parents have started doing everything in whenever they're trying to just use Cornish game hens, so there are no leftovers.
I tell you what, my mama's homemade jalapeno cranberry sauce was awesome.
That's another thing we avoided. No, my son and I pretty much, if it isn't like true dessert, we don't touch it. So
I have never had sweet potato pie. What does it taste like, guys?
Pumpkin pie.
Really? Okay.
Have you ever
That's what
had
I
sweet
figured.
potatoes?
Not in 50 years.
Okay,
So I was-
well, take sweet potatoes and mix it with a pumpkin pie, and that's sweet potato pie.
So I
Okay.
was in Afghanistan. I would eat it, and I was like, "Oh man, they've got good pumpkin pie." And people said, "It's sweet potato pie." I'm like, "Ah." So yeah.
Derek, don't do that. Don't eat all your sorrows away, because you won't leave any food left for other folks. Throw shrimp on the Barbie, says Anon.
Oh yeah.
Nathan's
yeah.
asking kangaroo liver.
Well, kangaroo is quite nice meat, but like it's a bit tough. You gotta like cook it right, otherwise you're dealing with like very chewy steak.
So
But
it's
it's very
like
good for
kangaroo
you.
tacos.
You wanna
just cook
build
it for-
muscle.
You learn something new every day. I didn't even know kangaroos were even edible. I didn't know the
Yeah,
Aussies.
yeah. They
Yeah,
used to
didn't
be
you
like
see that meme?
they
They're
used
like
to
the,
be like
the
El
prison cousins
Cheapo.
of deer.
They used to be like El Cheapo because they hunt them to keep the numbers down, right? And like now
And
it's
they
like
won the
fancy
war and got
pants.
off the menu.
Well, yeah, like
Yeah,
now it's like
kangaroo.
fancy pants, a bit more expensive, but it's like the most high iron. Like if you're trying to build muscle, like get some kangaroo.
Derek, I'm not even gonna.
Derek
I'll
has
put it
been
up, but
to
I'm not
prison.
saying that.
That's
Rude
all they are.
testicles.
Hey, what's up,
Kangaroo is
Percy?
deer that's been to prison. It's deer with a felony. That's all it is. Look at them.
All right, Nathan, I will be there. Probably not the usual time, a little late-ish, depending on what time I get out of here. But I will be there for sure. Glad you're feeling better, brother. Welcome to the show, Percy.
I've never eaten it. I've never
Get real
eaten
late
emu.
'cause we're all
That's
drinking and
like
talking about
emu's like
anything.
emu's exotic even here. I think like you have to go
Emu's
away
good.
before you
Emu's good.
you see something like that.
It's all a dark meat.
So, what do you suppose counts as a Thanksgiving meal in the Forgotten Realms?
Deer, wild boar.
Yep.
Owlbear.
Yeah, owlbear. Yeah, definitely. That's
If you can
it's funny
bag an
mention that.
owlbear, you can eat an owlbear.
Right?
You never hear about cows in any sort of D&D game. You know what I mean? You never hear about cows.
Oh, wait a minute. No. I mean, our D&D game, we had one because, well, they usually went for the sheep. We always had to go
Well,
over to some
you're going
farmer.
for the sheep, Omen.
What's that?
Aren't
You know
cow
you go for
aren't
the
cow
sheep.
in 40K?
Look. Just
Aren't
because what you do with
Talon
sheep
40K kind
is
of
what
like
you say
sea
over
cows?
there. I'm just used to sheepdogs,
Aren't they
No.
like kind of aquatic cows that go when they talk?
No.
to each
Those
other?
are called manatees.
That's
and they're
how I
in Florida.
imagine cows.
They're in
talk,
Florida.
like they're just like
That-
Manatees.
Those are Murlocs from Warcraft.
When they pick up the phone on the battlefield, they're like.
Yeah, maybe Minotaur. Maybe that's what they have.
Oh, yeah, that's no thanks.
I don't know. That's a little too close to bushmeat, I think.
Minotaur's pretty. Minotaur's
Well, you
based.
know what else they have? They
bring
have
back
dogs.
Beastmen.
How often do you see dogs other than in the something else? They just eat those.
The Crystal Shard book.
Yeah.
Brunner, Battlehammer eats that dude's dog's leg,
I forgot.
Well,
and it gave him indigestion.
after the whole thing with Odysseus and his crew and the sheep, you're like, oh, you want the sheep, but you'll eat human beings. That's great. Everything's edible. Just remember that. That's why you have carrion crawlers.
Nerd says she has a Dragurki mini that would make for a feast of slain. Deep fried cockatrice, maybe. Dragon steaks have always been a big favorite in my games.
Oh, did anyone ever read
dragon steaks at Trump dragon steaks
in the Dragon magazine where the guy was talking about some knight came over and killed the dragon? It's like, what are you gonna do with it? He's like, I'm just gonna leave it here. He's like, you're not gonna take it away? He's like, nope, I did my part. And so he tried selling dragon. He said it tasted horrible, but there is no such thing as bad publicity, so people were just coming to eat it. It was actually a pretty good article. It was fun to read.
He pulled like a Peter Parker. It's like, I forgot where that's my problem. All right, guys, I'm going to go to bed because Shadow starts his stream late.
All right, well, take care there, Thunder. Hunger, you're in the Eastern time zone now?
What was that?
Are you in the Eastern time zone?
Yes, always.
I know. I was just curious because, different parts of Kentucky are in different parts. So.
Eastern, baby. Yeah.
Take care, Hungar.
Kentucky. You'll have
Have a good night, Hungar.
You guys
Night,
be
Hungar.
good. Have a great show. Peace, love, and chicken grease. God bless.
Say hi to the fam for us.
Well, they're already in bed.
And say hi tomorrow.
My mom and dad are 72 years old. They're already asleep.
Oh, they're younger than my parents.
God, they're like the same age as my dad.
Yeah.
I reckon if you carbon dated my body, it'd be about 72.
Love you, brother.
I'm afraid to ask what you've been eating there, James L. I've been eating petrified.
Head and Shoulders, toothpaste, and shit.
Head and Shoulders toothpaste? I'm pretty
Head and
sure that's
Shoulders
supposed to go up here, not in
It's
here.
a 5-in-1. It's a 5-in-1.
That's a good question because those are two radically
It's
different.
the ultimate man's bathroom product. It does it all, and it cleans the bathroom.
Hell, if you think everything tastes like chicken, then it tells me you haven't eaten enough. I think it would taste more like squirrel.
Owlbear tastes like owlbear. It's very
Yeah,
distinct.
exactly. That's the whole point.
Grouse, maybe a little bit like grouse.
Owlbears are hunted for their owlbear-like qualities.
Owlbears are worth 420 experience points.
If you ever watch The Joy of Wargaming, he's got like a personal grief against owlbears because he kept playing some solo games and they just kept eating him. For like a whole episode, he just got eaten like 3 times. So he was like, owlbears.
Well, at least they're not flying. That's the important part. If you had gliding owlbears, it probably tastes somewhere between flying squirrel and
That's an owlbear with a pilot's license, and that's a level of terrorist threat in completely different in kind.
Mr. Weird would like in, sir.
I'm letting him in. Raven was supposed to be here, but I don't know what she's doing.
She was here earlier.
Yeah, I know, but it takes her forever to
get ready.
Yeah, it was. She's doing Nathan's show as well afterwards, so she's probably got different things going on at the same time. Plus, corralling an army of cats.
I'd be careful about saying that too
Oh
loud.
shit, Justin was here too. I'm gonna have to kick one of you guys out. I'm kidding. Sorry,
I love
Justin.
it when
I
she's
didn't see you
talking
there.
and one of them just like collapses whatever's behind her, like every episode.
What's that?
Hello,
Hello.
Weird. How you doing?
Hey, Brian.
Good.
Hello, Vlad.
Hey,
How
Brian.
are you?
I'm a half hour late. Shit, I thought you started at fucking 9
Well,
He's
no, I
always
started 6:30.
or 6, 9, so whatever. Damn Californians in your stupid time.
Yeah, it's like
Hey,
trying
hey.
to figure out metric, man. You don't know what
I
time
don't
it
make
is.
I don't make the rules. I just live by them. One of these days.
Oh,
One of these days.
Wait a minute. You
It's
guys,
the wide,
for
wonderful
all
world
you
of
military
weird
war
World War
gamers,
II.
you don't use Zulu time?
Sorry,
See
Raven.
Hey, Annan, what's up, brother?
So,
So
did
what
anybody
was
actually
the-
get any gaming in this weekend?
I just played this morning an OSE game of which my one hit point magic user Walter got abducted by a bunch of goblins because Gene wouldn't kill him. He went into a fight. I was like, you know, the sad thing is that my magic user has killed off more goblins than everybody else in the park.
It's like level 1 goblins, fucking spiders.
Yeah, I played I played a modern skirmish called Marriage, and now I appear to have won and annexed the territory of the couch for the next few days. So
Oh, that's right.
Well, yes,
No.
but you lost your
I'm
balls
gonna have
in the
to accumulate
process.
some soy. You're gonna have to accumulate some soy points, and get back in the good books.
It happens, man. It happens.
That was pretty good. Hell, Holman, was his name Bond?
For what?
You had a Walter TPK.
No,
and
it
he
was close
follows
to a
up with
TPK.
shows myself out.
It was almost a TPK. We only
Hey,
had four.
Brian.
We were missing Angus. Angus, which is the
Right,
fourth level.
I found something you might like.
Oh, really?
you know,
What's your name?
You know Copplestone Castings?
Oh, hell yeah.
You know they have a mecha Hitler, like a Hitler head on a mecha body
They do. They do.
in metal, 28mm metal for your pulp games.
They do. I don't
I've
have
been
that, but I know of it. Yes.
I think you need mecha Hitler.
So I have a Mecha Hitler. I got several. Let me go get them. Hold on a second.
Of course he does. I just go to.
He's
I'm
got
just
all
going
kinds
to,
of things in that room.
I'm
of
going to the
his.
tub marked M. This is where mecha Hitlers go and M3s.
All right, Shadow. So what was the theme for tonight? Was it what was edible during the Thanksgiving in the Forgotten Realms, or?
He has a normal Hitler. So just no, actually, we were talking, Bo and I, and he's not here, of course, about getting people into the hobby, new people into, like a better version of the hobby instead of just GW or Wizards of the Coast or stuff like that. How we can, maybe show people that this some of this good old fashioned goodness that's never in the shops. You can never find it. It's only the top 3 companies and that's it. And nobody's brave enough.
I'll tell you, one comes to mind straight away, and it's kind of the reason why I gravitated away from like obscure metal in like weird scales towards 28mm starter sets, because 28mm starter sets have a kind of clear goal about them, and they come with the rules and the dice and everything like that. I think some of those other manufacturers would do really well to do little bundles, even with brief rules and like limited dice. Yeah, like bundling and existing games even with just a small starter force to kind of help give people a bit of direction, because I think it's the direction that comes from those things that's actually appealing. It's like I can switch my brain off and paint what's in the box and then have something at the end of it, like without too much planning.
Well, here's the thing: is you need a game that allows you to do whatever you want.
Sorry, Dean, I didn't see you there, brother.
The old Rogue Trader is much better for doing stuff because it allowed you to use any miniatures you wanted. You didn't have to use the GW stuff. You just threw it in, and that's the problem that I think with a lot of them. I just saw Shatterpoint. My God, how expensive is that?
Well, you can always
you don't
you
have
can
to
always
use
use your own
GW
minis.
shit. You know, tell them to
You
fuck
can
off
always
and
use
just
your own
use
minis,
whatever.
like-
But the thing is, I don't think people buy GW stuff for the rules because their
No.
rules suck.
No, they buy it for the minis.
They buy it
Like,
for the minis because they dig the minis.
the rules
but
are kind of marginal.
Well, no. See, everyone mentions these things, but they're forgetting one thing. Your introduction to the game is based off of your friends, and if your friends are playing it, then you don't know that they're crap rules because you have no reference for it.
It's true.
That is very true.
Okay.
You know, so you want to go cheap and you want to get people into the hobby. You know, one thing I notice is that I don't think that people paint enough Reaper miniatures.
Oh,
You know,
Reaper,
they've got so many fantastic things out there that you can do. You know, and if you're looking to go cheap, you know, I mean, I'll throw out a Games Workshop game. I'll give you the SBG game, the Lord of the Rings game. There's a lot of good miniatures in that range. They're moderately, they are well below what Games Workshop really charges for any of their miniatures. Like if you want to get into something cheap, you can use those miniatures for an array of anything you want. They were the line was sculpted by the Perrys. They are a 10 out of 10 range that you can pair with just about anything you want, like from Reaper, because they're the same scale.
But they're 20 years going too. They're still fantastic, and still. I mean, the Perrys did a fantastic job in that line, and they're still
adding to it.
Yeah,
There's a lot of board games.
This much.
There's a lot of board games that put in that category as well, like Zombicide and stuff
Well, see, here's the important
I just looked up the avatar of Rage. It's a hippo.
Well, no,
okay.
The one that you really need to look at is the like Space Hulk. It's got the miniatures. They're cool looking. They're easy to assemble. You don't have to paint them. You put them on the board and you can play. And
Absolutely, I'm right there with you on the Space Hulk.
Okay, so here's Hitler in his normal. I'm a dumbass. Here, look at me. I know this. My camera sucks.
Are you sure that's not Montgomery? I can't see close enough.
Then we've got a Hitler that's armed. He's not painted, but he's got an MP38 or MP28, excuse me, in case we need him shooting. And then we've got little Hitler on his little drone with a little bubble head. And then if you want to go full-blown Hitler, because you never go 100% Hitler. Here you go. Here's the 100% Hitler.
Even Hitler
giant
never went full
dreadnought shit.
So I mean, everyone's talking about these things, and what they're doing is they're looking at us, who've been playing games for 40 years or so, who have a bunch of different rule sets, and the reality of it is they just want to go in and kill team or something like that, but you want it where it's easy to get in. You can play it with. It has to have two sides, so players can just come in and start. It has to have good miniatures. It has to have good gameplay that's fast, and that's how you suck people into the hobby.
That's where me and you differ. You are into speed, and ease of play. I love the fucking crunch. I
have played it all. I have played all, but
I know, but you often bring up like you don't like minis, like just talking minis. You like fast.
Well, here's what it comes down to.
I like the crunch.
Well, see, here's the problem that I have. Crunch works fine if I have 6 minis on each side. Crunch really slows down if I'm going to put 80 models on the board, and
I think crunch is good when you have something that's been built around like a single idea. So like a board game of, say, the American Civil War can be super crunchy, and you can really take your time with it, or even play solo because the rules have been kind of written around that.
Okay, but
when it's a more general system, and you're throwing in like setting up the table and stuff like that, I think there's probably I prefer faster rules for like minis. You know what I mean?
You say it slows things down, but the thing, and that's true. But when you start to become proficient in the game that you choose to play, that goes out the window because you can do heavy.
But I'm just playing against people who are like walking past going, oh, that looks like fun. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not playing against like other wargaming nerds. I'm just playing against people who are like, yeah, I'd like to give that a go. As they visit the house, kind of thing. Like,
you gotta get the
so
new players.
It's got to be relatively straightforward. Like,
So
otherwise,
if you
I'm out of luck.
if
You know?
you get new players, it's also, and this is the thing is, how long do you have when someone visits you? Even if it's like your cousin or something like that, you normally have a couple hours.
Since I increased the kidnappings, it's less of a problem. Like,
Yeah, my cousin's a jerk.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but that's because I'll be honest. The very first miniature war game I played was a sci-fi game. We set it up with a bunch of books. We covered it over with, as terrain. We measured stuff out, and boom, we just played. Now that said, my father used to have all sorts of really tactical, board games, the chits and everything else, and you had to do all the calculations. And guess what? He never had time to play. I was the one that did, and trying to get my friends to learn a 60-page rule book. That is quite an effort. And
I mean, some of those hex and counter games that I've got are like expected playtime is like 5 or 6 hours, which is kind of okay if you're doing like it on your own and like over a day. Like,
new people. What's the topic today?
So it's whatever we feel like.
You want to get new people.
Hey,
your mom is
chill,
the
fucking Australian bastard.
Well, he's on a delay of at least a second. Come on.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know.
Like, sometimes you guys will be talking and I'll be like, unwashed wildebeest anus.
but
fresh
no, I mean
from the market.
Look, I don't mind really detailed, complex rules at a certain point, but I do want to play a game that won't take me an entire day because I actually like to do something else too.
See,
I feel like every game,
like, if I'm going to
every game I play with
game,
someone's a demo game.
If I'm going to commit to a game, it's usually an all-day like committal, right? But I mean, and that's just me. I'm not saying that's for everybody. But when you have these massive armies and shit, dude, you want to play it, and then like when you start playing Fast and Furious, it seems like you're not getting what you. This is me. You're not getting the full impact of all this cool shit on your table because the rules are so simplistic, they're so fast that all this cool shit doesn't work like it should, or would.
I'm going to bring this up. A lot of times, is people making things overly complex without any good reason. Number one. Number two is
That's exactly what happened to 10th edition 40K.
Well,
a little bit.
It wasn't
a little bit. They should have either let them have the stratagems or like the individual unit flavors, like not both. They should have decided one or the other.
Well, I mean,
to kind of emphasize it.
See, Brian's looking at it as I'm going to play all day on one thing. I would rather play 2 scenarios in one day, and go from there. And the problem that I have all too often is, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And we're going to do this. And as a math person, you know what? A lot of times you can figure it out and condense things into one roll that will have the same effect.
Maybe. I think dice are way more swingy than people realize. There's an element of, even though people are like, oh, this has this percentage chance of hitting or whatever, I'm like, yeah, dice are like, wait, you have to take a pretty big sample size to not see the chaotic swing of generating random numbers.
So James L., I mean, I'm going to bring this up, which is Mutant Year Zero, because that's one. And you go look at the difference between the regular and you look at the one that they've used for their Blade Runner. By using the dice, you're still within 1%. And I said, well, right there, it's easier to roll 3 dice than it is 6 or 7. And that's what I mean by you can get almost the same thing. And by doing that is you allow a faster combat to go.
I would never mess with the wiring of a game at the level of changing the number of dice being used, but that's just me. Like, I accept that I have like a limited understanding of things around me, so I like rules as written is like actually just the easiest thing for me to do.
No. I'm not saying rules as written. I'm saying if you're going to be writing your own rules, then stop trying to just add in more roles.
Oh, sure. If I wrote my own rules, I would do something more like 1 hour war games from Neil Thomas. It's like the most generic simplify. It's like more like a
The
framework.
highest die
that you can-
wins. There you go. That's as easy as you can get, right?
Yeah.
Nerds makes a really good comment.
It's almost at that
over
level,
here,
but
guys.
it's still a good rule set because it's like almost like a framework for you to hang different
Now,
things
see,
off.
nerd. I don't think
I've
there's-
been in this situation a million times, where everybody knows who's going to win in a longer game. They can just see it from miles away. New people can come look at the table and go, "Oh, you're getting your ass kicked." You can just tell. And I think that has a bit to do with why games have been streamlined and simplified and the overall attempt to try to make a game doable in under an hour and a half, so that you can keep that sort of edge of your seat sort of feeling like you're not just
Sure, but I mean, if you take something like, say, Age of Sigmar, right, where like it's maybe not the best explained game in the world to begin with, so it's kind of hard to get into because you're like, who are all these different wispy creatures or whatever?
Right.
Like, they've got these big mega units that are like cool to paint and everything, and like I'm sure cool to collect, but like if you lose that guy, you've lost the game. Whereas like in something like Oldhammer, you have like the advantage of like flanking or like having a bit of depth of defense or keeping something in reserve. Like it's much more like an actual battle than like say Pokemon with minis where like my dude beats your dude because he's got like a massive strap on from
Well,
the devil.
Wait a minute.
We
Is
talked about this,
Pokemon really a miniatures game now? Is nothing sacred? Does everything
what I mean?
They
Where
have
it's
like wrestling
it's
miniature
like-
games now. Hold on.
It's like
Oh,
my
they've had
dude
those
has
forever.
my dude has
They have
like
those back
lava
in the
lamps on
day.
his head, so like he emits radiation, and your guy has cancer now. or
Well, we
something.
talked about
like,
this earlier. We talked about like a lot of these games become not games of tactics and strategy, but how to manipulate the special rules and the mechanics of the game.
I don't
So here,
agree
hate
on
that
that so
shit.
much.
well,
Yeah, I'm not big on it.
Here's what I'm going to agree with Brian. What I play is I want realistic. I want the rule sets to bring out realistic tactics.
Yeah.
But
That's
bro,
part
how
of
do you
it
know
in
they
there.
are realistic? You're not a hoplite. When did you fight in the Greek wars? Not even once, bro.
I've been around the military for decades, James L.
Well, you
So
know what
that's
I
not a
mean.
good
I
way
mean-
to go.
But I have never seen you in a skirt. So how does I know you know about ancient combat, cuz? I don't know for sure, do I?
Well, you didn't.
Well, if you want to
You're
see
not
me
gonna
a
find
skirt,
those
I'll
pictures of
send
me
you
in
a
a
I'll
skirt.
send you a
No,
link.
they
Okay?
didn't
How do I
exist.
know you're even Greek, bro? You don't talk like one. What's going on?
But no, I mean that's the problem that I have with too often, especially in 40K, is you have completely made it so gamified that it doesn't match
Yeah.
any realistic aspect
It's
out
like
there.
Dragon Ball. Like I imagine them all in Dragon Ball, just like hanging up in the air, having like a conversation with each other. Like my power is better than your power.
So I mean, but I mean that's why whenever Brian and I play, look, and then I'm gonna be honest, Brian, I can probably streamline a lot of your stuff by looking at some things and trying making some rolls. But
Agreed, Al.
But
GW is a model company pretending to be a game company, and they really don't give a
Like
rat's
there's
ass.
a happy medium. There's a happy medium. Like when you look at like Warlord games,
I
they
don't
do this
wanna-
thing where they give you a real like straightforward buckets of dice kind of old hammer type mechanic, but then they'll throw in a few historical things that like they'll play it up. They'll play up the role of a unit or like a special ability to add flavor rather than necessarily make it something that's going to break the game.
Matt.
So
One
I
nation
mean,
is better than Anyway, go ahead.
no. I mean, when you start looking at all these things, Justin, I don't really care what you say. Anyway, but no.
Wow.
Anyway, he's talking about Pokemon. Like that's not what I'm referring. Actually, it was a Holy Diver over there was talking about Pokemon. But no, when you start looking at it, it's like, look, sometimes you can when you start doing the math, you can say, look, I can do one roll where you're making me do two. And it's like, okay, we're really adding anything bonus wise by having these two rolls versus one. And the answer is, well, no, then we can streamline that part. But what I don't want is I don't want the GW like you see in tournaments where they put like 80 guys behind one building.
Yes, my
you know,
God.
that is so unrealistic. I said, look,
Or like Flames of War is the same way. You have like a battalion of fucking tanks all touching fender to fender across the battle. It's just ridiculous.
Well, this is why I like
Well,
smaller stuff.
you're
of
always
the
going to have
6
to buff
millimeter.
up the scenery and stuff a little bit. Like, it's not to perfect scale. If it was, you'd be
No
playing
worries,
like
G.
you
two
were,
millimeter.
right about,
you can join us next week, and I'll bring you in into the panel, as I only get to talk to you over on Hungar's show. It seems.
Yeah, about what do you call it? Space Hulk. That's a good game to get people in. You've got everything you need with Space Hulk, and you've got so much flavor, so many things you could do with the game. You don't have to paint anything, and I believe they ended it with you can write your own scenarios and everything. The next adventure is up to yours. Another good one is Hero Quest. And that doesn't require a lot of complexity either. You can use Reaper
I used to have it
miniatures.
right here, but yeah, I just picked that up last year. It's
Hero
funny, you
Quest-
guys.
Hero Quest is a game you can play with your friends who don't game as well. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny. I knew everybody was going to go to the same direction when I brought this up. You know, picking a game and okay, we've got the game, but now how do we get people to know it exists and see it and like invite them to our table? You know, a lot of game shops won't actually let you bring in a game unless they sell it. I was at GW today.
Every
You know what I
game
mean? I was at
is-
GW today, and you know, because I was looking to see if Legion Imperialis was in, sold out worldwide in 30 freaking minutes, and I'm like,
damn,
really? All right, well, that helps me make that decision. I'm probably not going to grab it right
There's
away.
a guy who did an unboxing of it to showcase the minis, and the minis look like ass, dude. They're
Yeah,
like,
well, at $50 for two 8mm tanks for $50.
but no, just like
playing
he showed an
the
example
original.
of what the Space Marines look like. They have the molding of it is just jacked.
Well, you know what?
Really?
The Space Marines are supposed to be so
it's
tiny
probably-
anyway. You're supposed to. I mean, they're what 6 milli. I mean, they're literally the size.
Yeah,
of
but
a
the thing
pea.
is he showed a comparative company of a 6 mil, and they look fantastic. And then they showed the GW one. It looked like something you get at a Milton Bradley board game.
I think it's probably
that's where
one
you
of
run
those-
into problem with 6mm is plastics will not hold the same detail as metals. So if they were going to, that's another
Right,
thing.
but even back in the day with the original Epic, those minis didn't look like ass. You know, the little Space Marines, 6
I
mil,
think
they looked okay.
I think the new ones look all right. I just think the Games Workshop's putting its toe into an area that where like printing and stuff is like taken off, and you've got all these traditional metal manufacturers that have been making these and sculpting these by hand from year zero.
One game that me and my group have been playing, we played last week, was Mordheim, and we're playing it again this week, and that's another really good game. And that's not even Games Workshop anymore. It's in public domain.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
really?
out there.
It's in public
Yes.
domain. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've seen those the living Bibles for Necromunda and that one. Dude, they're fantastic. And those are the fans, man. Those are the fans.
And those
making it
games
great.
don't last that long. Like, I lose 4. So I got a group of 16 night goblins. We lose like 4 guys, and all of a sudden, you got to take a leadership test to stick in the game. I failed both my leadership tests in both of my games. One was boxcars. There's no reroll. The other one was a double 5. No reroll. You
Brother,
game's
I have
over.
to say something. You have got to chuck those fucking dice out the window, dude. I'm telling you, I watch your games and I watch you roll like ass. You need to just invent some new dice, dude. Seriously.
Actually, changing my name from Holy Diver to Angry Tabletop Nerd.
Wait a minute. Holy Diver, don't take his advice. If the dice are giving you fun, which is actually, we have a much better story by rolling boxcars than him winning. That's the way it comes down. But no, at the end of the day, it's those small skirmishing games that start bringing people into stuff. And,
Also,
and it's cheap to get into. It's a low barrier of entry. And that's the problem that we're looking at is, this is what I was talking about with Shadow Point. People are paying $10 to $20. Well, guess what? That's great for us that have disposable income. But those who don't have disposable income, how are you going to bring in like my son? Oh, guess what, son?
You're talking about entry level stuff. right?
Yes.
But there's
Well,
always
yeah, not just that though, but how do we even let like people out there know that there is this hobby? You know, where can we like advertise or go other than, you know, I thought about the library because Owen's always talking about his local library. You know, we don't have like you know, these after school centers or the Boys and Girls Club or Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts. You know, most of those things are like completely
I don't
off limits.
necessarily.
So
I don't necessarily.
I gotta
wanna
ask
play
one
against-
question. Let's set a
I don't want to play
parameter.
against 12. I don't want to play against 12-year-olds necessarily. Like I'd rather play people.
No,
who are
I know, I get that,
roughly my age.
but
don't
you
be
know,
playing with any 12-year-olds, dude. That's a no-go.
right. No, I know, I get it. I mean, unless they're related to your, you know, like your kids and your kids' friends bring kids over.
Yeah, I show my friends' kids how to play, but I don't want to hang out. Like I kind of
clearly not.
understand that a lot of these things are really.
So
like,
so let's set a
kids' domain
parameter
or
then.
whatever.
How old
Yeah.
are these younger people? How old are you thinking? And then what is their income bracket? What is their income bracket?
Burger flipper is a reason.
Burger flipper. So okay, now a burger flipper.
You know, because there's no kids with an allowance that really doesn't, you know, doesn't work anymore.
Yeah,
nor
miniature game
does-
with an allowance.
So I'm
Nor
going to bring
does,
this up, which is
like
it-
17, 18, I guess. You
no,
know,
no.
Yeah.
It has to be under $50. It has to be complete where you can get you and your friend involved. Because most of us, I don't know about you guys, most of it is I learned kind of either through word of mouth when I was a kid or someone else. Those are my two requirements right there. Now that said is
we got to raise that cap to at least 120 because $50 isn't going to buy you a shoehorn today.
no. That's not true. There's plenty of things for $50 that you
minis.
can get that are cheap. Now I admit once you start getting to
maybe
a
2
big
years
box.
ago, but today everything's more
Maybe
expensive.
You can
give
still find
people,
stuff for $50.
Yeah, but it won't be that way for long, though.
If you give people
Well,
flat,
Let me ask this:
Absolutely.
are you guys strictly talking about miniatures type games, or are you
Yes.
talking about any kind of games,
Miniature games.
like tabletop?
okay, I was talking RPGs as well.
RPG.
Yeah, I'm
That's
in the
easy,
I'm
then.
in the camp with RPGs, and that's another thing where it's like I said, this is you know, I don't want to tout Games Workshop, but again, you know, that you can go over and get those Lord of the Rings dudes, and the Isengard War Host is literally 44 models. You're getting a wizard, you're getting Grimmer Wormtongue, so you're already getting like 2 townspeople with it, and you're getting a bunch of orcs. And you know, if you have a couple of elves, all of a sudden you can put those orcs in an RPG setting. Or if you upscale your position, you can use those guys in Hail Caesar scenarios or Kings of War scenarios if you just get the correct basing.
No, I'm going to bring up one other thing because everyone's talking about getting actual miniatures. Don't forget you can also use standees because I like the old BattleTech.
You know that's okay for us grognards.
Yeah,
or
but
if
not
the
the
box
new kids.
comes-
No way.
If the box comes with
it's not going
standees,
to rope
that's cool.
anyone in. Like nobody's like, oh gee, I look forward to like flocking the cardboard base of this to make it look.
Yeah,
a
no
little
one's
bit
going to
more
play a miniature
tied
game
in with everything else.
with standees.
Well,
Just-
no.
Yeah.
They
If
want to
you-
see the
if
mini.
you're talking about something at the very beginning, you do the
Yeah.
standees because it's the same way we did stuff. See, you're all thinking like, oh, you know, after 40 years. But let's be honest, lots of people play with standees.
There's
You can
also an
use
element of
standees.
like, maybe you would accuse me of gatekeeping, but like, there's an element of like, it's a hobby. You have to kind of bite the pillow and go in dry. Like, the whole thing about a hobby is that it's a folly. Like, it costs more than you can afford. It requires more talent than you have. It takes up more time than you have, and that's what makes it a hobby. Like, you have to make a bit of a sacrifice. You have to suffer a little bit to enjoy it, right? So,
Yeah,
like, I'm kind of learning with painting now.
Yeah,
That's
but
like
I think
I'm
it
learning-
depends on what stage y'all are talking about. Like James, if they start playing and they like it, absolutely, they're gonna have to invest. But like Omen's saying, to get them in the door, you know, I mean, print off some paper minis off of, you know, some shit you buy off drive-through, cut them out, paste them, and just to get them in to see that first game to see if they like it.
So BattleTech is
will be
doable
there
for
because the
$50.
minis
You
are
can.
absent.
You can buy the battle starter, the battle starter box for like 58 on eBay, or you can buy a star of mechs for $25. It's doable.
They still sell them on Amazon.
Or Flames of War, the Fury box, which is just like 2 German tanks and 2 American ones in 15 mil. That's like 50 USD, I think.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
But again, if you're doing that, and let's all look at Sean. If all of you want to go look at Mage's Musings, what are the miniatures he uses?
Right, but he's actually come to that conclusion or result for different reasons. I'm talking about getting kids, or young folks who could, just as easily, spend the $50 on a brand new video game, pop it in, be good to go, and never care about all the other things we're talking about.
I like
on
games
first
with
blush, first look, we want someone to see that and go, I want in.
Yeah,
no.
There has to be an element. There has to be a modeling component because it's a great filter for people who won't be bothered reading and just want to make it about lesbians or whatever. So,
But I mean, when everyone's talking about these things, it's not that hard to get standees going through. There's also plastic standees. It's like, great. Well, let's be honest. At a certain point, because I remember being as a kid and hearing about everyone talk about their miniatures and doing all the other stuff. I'm like, wow, they did all this stuff. And you start going, oh. And then, there's a status symbol, whether people like it or not. There's a status of having your miniatures. And then after you get the miniatures, there's a status of having them painted. And then doing a good paint. I mean, there's this
telling you,
thing.
No one's going to go into a mini game and want to play it after they see it played with standees. If you played a game with standees and you played a game with minis, they're going to gravitate to the minis. It's an eye
over
thing
time,
too.
but we're saying the entry level.
You got to have minis, man, because they're going to look at this game and it has fucking paper standees, and they're going to look at that game. They have minis in it. They're going to gravitate to the minis game. So you got to come up with some way to
cost is your biggest barrier of entry. That's your biggest barrier of entry.
Trust me, they'll find a way if they're one.
I'm not excited.
Speaking of cost on the barrier of entry, I went into an actual hobby store the other day to pick up I got this kit because I needed Sterling mud to finish off my household guard, and it was the middle of the day. There wasn't a single person there except for the dude working there. I'm like, it's the day after Thanksgiving. How come nobody's playing games? And it's 2 p.m. He's like, do you really think that anybody gets up at this time unless they have to?
What the hell?
There's your young people. There you go. I just closed the book on that subject.
Well, so I was at 2:00 and I went over to the one near where Bruce is in San Antonio that he's been recommending. That place, and this was before
San Antonio has a huge gaming community.
And San Antonio, well, I've also been, this is the other part, is I've also been to Dragon's Lair in Austin. And what's kind of nice is, especially for Dragon's Lair in Austin, was you can ask to play a game before you ever buy it. And they will bring it out and let you play it. And
that's nothing. I went to Wizard Fister in Pittsburgh.
What?
I'm waiting for the punchline there.
Just inside the Wizard.
So you see, but I think that all too often is you guys are looking at it as, well, this is what I would want to play. Well, you know what? Being the gamer
That's
here,
what we're talking about. Pineapple Man.
Well, no. We're talking about people bringing people into a hobby, and you're trying to gatekeep them by making them spend $400.
Not $400. $80 enough for 2 teams of people and the tree and the book and the dice. If they're not paying, the hat no in it. And if the hat no in it, we don't want them here.
Well, you know what? You can pick on whoever you want to play with, James. But the whole point is that I agree with Elle. As you start doing the paints and the brushes and everything else.
Yeah, I was kind of just thinking, more of role playing, because role playing can be the gateway to mini games, to war games, to gaming outside of video games, and your traditional board games like Monopoly.
Diver brings up a point, right? We are still stuck in this idea that kids want to sit across from each other in person and roll dice and mess with minis when they can just sit on their fucking couch at home, jack into the box, plug in and play with people across the world. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this might be a mentality that is out, is being outdone just because the possible players, it's just not what they want.
Okay, I'm going to bring the other part
in the audience.
This is even got the
people
paint,
that I've been
and
around,
it's,
my son,
$80.
They like sitting down at the table. They didn't have that experience at first. They started playing D&D Beyond and doing all this online shit with the virtual tabletops and all that. But when they finally got invited over to our house, my son talked me into running a game for some of his friends. And so I did. And, of course, I'm a dick, so I ran him through Ravenloft. And and they loved it. And since then, they got rid of all their PDF books. They started buying hardback copies. They started buying minis and dice. And before I knew it, they were off and playing at their own house and making their own groups. Last I heard, they gave up the whole virtual thing because they had never done across the table before.
So
like
with Jackie's
help
group.
people bring that back because
All right, Jackie's group is a perfect example as well. They love the whole. I mean, the game they had last week. I think 3 of the kids actually dressed up, in costumes to show up in my place. It was just nerd heaven. They were laughing, having a great time, eating pizza, Mountain Dew, and playing the game, face to face.
But do you think they'll maintain it? Do you think they'll maintain that kind of?
Yeah, well, they will if folks like us can find ways to help them out here and there.
Get them out of the pod
momentarily, but just
if you get them out of the pod, nature asserts itself.
I'm going to bring up one other thing. I'm going to bring up another thing. Is Brian literally went to the library a couple of weeks ago and played with young ladies and they were having a blast. So this whole idea that people
they're playing with me.
What's that?
Because they're playing with me.
Yeah, but you didn't invite them. They showed up on their own. That's the whole point. Is this whole idea that they won't play. You know what? If people don't play, they don't play. Guess what? We don't even have to gatekeep people who don't want to play. There's nothing worse, and I'm sure you all remember this, than the person that brought his girlfriend to play a role-playing game and she didn't want to be there. And you're just like, don't bring her again, ever. That's but let's look at, admittedly, this is about $100, the Star Wars Rebellion. This is a 4-hour game. It's got miniatures and everything else. And this is a beast of a box. That said let's go for a cheaper one, which I wouldn't mind having. They have standees in King of Tokyo. King of Tokyo is a blast to play. So.
But how good would King of Tokyo be if it had real plastic monsters in it? It would be
too expensive for people to play.
I don't know if we need to talk about like what kind of game. You talk about Star Wars. Maybe they're not into Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to play a Star Wars game if they're not into it.
Or do they want to sit down and have?
To be fair, Shadow did say RPG, and there's Mantic also has Dungeon Saga, which is really cheap. Some of these are just little terrain crates that you buy. There's sets that are $30 that include a set of miniatures and everything. There's the Game Master's Dungeon Starter at 110, and that comes with all kinds of Hero Quest type furniture and some basic monsters. But you can literally use anything you want for a hero. So, I mean, you got to go across some of the ranges. But like if I owned a store, all right, and people were coming in and they were just wanting to know the best way to get in touch with anything, I would point them over to Reaper. I would point them over to like Dungeon, like, what do you like? What do you want to do? What do you and your two best friends want to do? You guys got to think through that. So, I mean, the possibilities are infinite if you ask those questions, but let's set one more parameter. Let's just say it's fantasy setting. And then the other one is science fiction. Well, they've got the what do you call it? Counterpart to that game, which is a space-based, what is it? Is it Firefight? Yeah, they've got Firefight or something like that, or they've got Hellboy, the board game.
Oh, I'll tell you the one that was really good it wasn't Firefight. What was it? Dead Zone, which included everything. It had two sides. It had the major. Admittedly, it's $150. See, the problem is, it's like, who's going to be spending all that money? That's especially in the tight economy. The other part is can you get people? This is why I said, too many
Conventions.
Conventions. Big snobs. And you're like, no, that's not what goes on. It's like for the library that we go to, Brian. I mean, how many people were there? There were lots of people of different ages, and a lot of it.
And this I think is where y'all's perspectives are split. Some of you are thinking as if you are going to be the ones bringing these people into the hobby, and you already have all the shit to really get them interested, so they can start making their own investment. And I think Omen is kind of thinking like I was. What if they do it on their own? What if they want to play these games? They don't have an old fart like us that has all this shit to show them and introduce them with it. They got to do it on their own. So what do? They can afford maybe one core book, and then they got to figure out how to make miniatures. Okay, well, they can use dice, they can make paper, because they're not quite there, and they don't know if they want to get there. So I'm gonna bring up I think all of you are right. You're just looking at this from different perspectives.
So I think if you raise it to about $120, you've got everything you need on a lot of those games.
Yeah, but some kids are even too poor for that.
And
we
did set them to burger flipper status. If you're the problem I have with a lot of with a lot of kids who are working, they've got no business being broke if they're living at home. Especially if they're working a 30-hour-a-week job or something like that. They shouldn't be that broke. I mean, I know gas is expensive, but even then, when you're not paying rent, you're still banking $300 after your car insurance.
Al, I had nothing to do with that.
No, I'm going to bring
what he said about the app. I don't even use the app myself. I never mentioned
look at the Alien set. The Alien set goes for about.
That's a good one. By Gale Force 9, the Aliens one.
No. This is the RPG.
Oh,
this is the RPG from Free League, which is about $50. You got all your dice. Guess what? You got cards, so you can get your equipment and everything else. You've got your starter set. I mean, this is Dragonbane's another good one. Actually, all those starter sets are fantastic. So you get the that. So you get this. I mean, this is a great deal overall. You've got.
You know what? I just had an idea.
You got punch outs. You got the map, which this map is huge when you start looking at it.
Owen's doing a box opening.
Oh yeah. but you got that.
Nice.
Then guess what? You give your characters. You give these to the players. You get the character sheet for each one, and these are starter sets a lot of people are using. So you're like, okay, that's cool.
Who makes this game again? I just want to look it up on Google.
Which one? Alien, the starter set. Alien RPG, the starter set on Free League.
Freely.
I had an idea, guys. Here's a challenge. For those of you who can, I'm not gonna, wallet shame anybody here. Maybe this year, buy a game, and not necessarily throw it in the Toys for Tots, because we know that ain't gonna go to the Tots.
The dude at the good. Dude, I don't blame half of those guys that might work at Goodwill.
But find somewhere like a school or a library or a kid I
just donated I probably donated over 50 games to our local library.
Yeah, and they have dozens of games, and he only brings out about.
I'd have given you good
50
money
and
for
20
that
every time we go there, which is fine.
I love some of the artwork on this Alien RPG game. That's pretty, and you get stand-ins and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
What
Brian
is doing in championing a game probably has more of an impact than figuring out what the
no. What we're saying is
because there are heaps of good starter sets. They're pretty much all good now. But actually running demonstrations for people. I know a guy who's doing that with a particular game that I really like, and it seems like he's getting a lot of people interested in it. And he lives in the middle of nowhere in Sweden, but he can find 3 or 4 other people like in every town to kind of come along and make it happen. So
there's some people who have printed miniatures for this, so you got a lot of options with just Alien alone. Do they have a game board or something that comes with?
I don't think so, since it is an RPG. But maybe this year, not necessarily mentor, but hand off a game that you really would play, and hand it off to some youngster or group like Jackie's friends that come over here. I'm thinking about doing something with them, because between the 7 of them, I think they have 2 books.
So Shadow, let me tell you something. What I do Weird World War II. It's a genre. And I try just a whole fucking genre. So what's weird about what I'm doing kind of what you guys are talking about. I'm just introducing people to everything within the genre: comic books, movies, video games, books, games, all that shit. And I think a lot of this stuff, I think you need to catch people, like, you got to get them hooked on the story, what you're going to game about. You know what I mean? That's where, like, okay, Diver, you're a big orc guy. You fucking love the orcs because of their orcs, right?
Yeah. No shit.
The fucking insanity that the orc is. And that's the thing, man. I don't think just giving somebody a game and playing it is going to get them hooked. They got to find what they love, and they're like, holy shit. Like, if they're in the Aliens, oh my God, look at this. I want to be a colonial marine and blah, 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 blah. And they'll be, that's the game you push them to. You got to figure out what these people really want before you give them any kind of gaming.
Hey, Bear, welcome to the.
But even just running games, and like putting up battle reports is really helpful. Like, there are some games where I'm like, you know what? If you really love a game, you got to like champion it a bit, and that's what gets people interested.
But I mean, we're not saying that you don't, but a lot of it just comes down to, let's be honest about this. We're talking about with our kids, but how was I introduced to Dungeons and Dragons? My friend got it. It. We played it. And then I got it, and then I would sucked in. Now, was he ever sucked in as much? No, but that's this idea that everyone I'll only get the ones that. No, you might get 10% that will actually stick with it.
The thing is, you're not gonna catch somebody like long term with something that they're not interested in. If they just want to play a game, you cannot stop video games. That's easy. You stick it in, you play it for a few hours, you finish the story, and you're done, and that's done. But how we got to do it, like if we're talking minis, I'm just talking minis because I'm more of a mini guy. I know. You got to figure out what these people want. Like, are they historical guys? Then, dude, what kind of history are you into, man? Are you into,
So Brian, a little bit different is when we're talking about this, is I used to be able to get 50 soldiers. I don't know what they are now. In 28 millimeter, or I'm not 28. It was 1 in 72 for soldiers, and it was in a box for $3.75.
No, I get you. Omen, you're a perfect example. Yeah. Like if you're into if you're into Star Wars, you're not going to go buy Legion and all this extra shit. You're just going to stick in the Jedi Old Order or whatever and game out that. Because it's easier.
The thing is, you can still
to this whole.
The thing is, you can still buy a lot of There are still a lot of cheap alternatives to like war game miniatures. Like you can still buy 172s and smaller scales and stuff. It just takes someone to show you like, oh, here's where you can buy them. These rules go well with them, and here's how I painted them in a couple of days.
Mentoring. Let's find one person and then mentor them into the hobby.
I'm trying to mentor my niece into the hobby. But her mom is lame. She's like, I don't want to end up some kind of nerd. Like, you.
Hey, hold it, Diver.
Nerds make all the money.
She doesn't have to worry about as much as going with the wrong crowd, because
you get them into Warhammer, they'll never have. You get them into Warhammer, they'll never have enough money to buy pot. Like, You know.
They definitely won't get pregnant.
Yeah, keep her away from Warhammer. That's a money shit thing. She'll never succeed in that.
Well, I wouldn't mind having her take over my channel, because one day we were watching the Never Ending Story and the horse died, and she's like, "You can just get another horse." I'm like, "Whoa, what the hell?"
Wow.
And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Watch her, Diver. Watch her.
Girl, you can just get another horse.
Oh my god.
Well, see, just like all you guys are talking about.
Damn scene.
Oh, they have to be really good miniatures. I said, no, they don't. They just need to be just enough of a representative to go out there. And that's,
that's funny.
The game by
the
Gale
group
Force 9 is probably, I think that's everything that you would want in the box, just. And everybody likes aliens, and that allows them to explore the sci-fi setting and everything, and
get into the movies.
It's got a lot of. I've seen that game played on reports. It's got a lot of tension.
Is that the board game? Is that the board game with the that's got the xenomorph plastics in it?
It's a space.
Yeah, I've thought about grabbing that actually, just because I like having.
I got into AVP. I only ever got to play one game of AVP. That game was kind of the shit. It was.
Bring back the Terminator board game.
It's still around.
Bring back the Terminator board game. That was like the sickest.
Warlord Games put that out, and
okay. So
Sorcery. Wow, that's an old one.
I will say this much. I'll go ahead. Sorry, Shadow.
Genders and Gemstones.
The Techies group. One of the kids who's sometimes the DM, sometimes not. He brings a bag of minis that's all kinds of crazy stuff from like 17 different, companies. Some of them are unpainted, minis from a board game. Some of the Dungeons and Dragons pre-painted metal minis. Some are, just a hodgepodge of things. When it comes to role playing, they're more into, it seems, the whole kit and caboodle of the game, the camaraderie, the laughing, at each other in person, the whole bit. Just, I think there's a lot of gamers a lot of kids out there that really don't need the visuals. They're the ones that are going to go out there and do great things when they get out of high school, provided
And then another thing that we have, another problem that we have that's prevalent today that wasn't prevalent 20 years ago is that there's literally no places that younger people can ride their bikes to and hang out at all. So
that's exactly what I was saying earlier.
The arcade is dead. The mall is dead. There's no place where everything takes place at the home now. Nobody. I mean,
okay. I'm gonna say a couple things, and I know Brian knows this too. At least for a while before this, there were at least two places within 30 miles. Now you're right; they are further away, but one of them was here locally in Nerdvana before it closed down. And I will admit that our librarian has been doing a really good job of trying to get people in.
But it's only once a month, though. No.
It's not once a month, Brian. You and I can go in and go check out.
Well, I know,
games.
But the event is once a month.
Well, the event is once a month, but you and I can go in there at any time and go check out the board games. And that there is role playing there's role playing for teenagers. They've got one that's going on Sundays. The real question is, do I want to play the game? That's a personal preference, but that is not getting people into the hobby. And that's a purely, but it exists. It exists at our local library where at least twice a week where you have board games. And I know that Brian was talking about with the veterans. And then the other one is there is the other one with a teenage group that comes in. And so it really comes down to, and I do know that there's a place in Killeen, which is about 30 miles away, where they had everyone going and playing. Now, it just depends on where you are. But I'll be honest, where did I play when I was a kid? There was no place to play. There wasn't. But I could go and get the books, but I had to still play at home for all my stuff. And that's the problem if you're looking at a young kid. This is the other part, is if you're looking at 8 hours, and again, I'm looking at young kids. I'm not saying adults that live alone. Okay, Mom, I would like to go play the game. I need to go put it on. I need to use the table that we have. Okay, well, just make sure you finish the game before dinner. That's the other part that you have to look at. So you don't want these long, involved 8-hour games. I mean, Shadow.
Yeah, Jackie's friends, they play tops 3 to 4 hours on a really special occasion. Usually it's 2 hours before the moms and dads are like, yeah, we want you back home, etc. You know, it blows my mind that they can play in person for 2 hours. You know, half the time they don't even get out of the tavern. You know, yeah. I mean, literally.
Well, I'm going to bring this other part. Let's go look at your Shadow. You have Twilight Imperium. How many times have you played that?
Never.
And why?
I can't find 6 to 8 people who've got nothing better to do for 8 hours. You know, I don't even know how to play the game. I got it for $15, which was a steal. And, you know, I know I won't get to play till I get to Texas.
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, I'll bring up one thing. Brian and I literally live 5 miles away from each other. And yet I still don't see him. And he doesn't work. I still don't see him except maybe once a month. And, you know, and it's not because I'm not willing to come over. He's like, yeah, it's just a bad time right now. Like, okay, fine.
Dude, I just got married and shit. I had rhabdo. I mean, it's been fucking busy, man.
See, look. There's Mr. Excuses right now. It's not like I can't come over when his wife isn't home. She does, you know. And like, okay, you know, we can do this.
Well, to be fair, you got Grandma, your farm responsibilities too. So
you know, the thought occurred to me. You guys keep talking about your library. I'm going to call my local library, and there's actually 2 of them. And I'm going to, ask. I'm going to ask them, do they have a game night? And if not, why not? And if I have to, I'll call back like 18 times and change my voice so that they think it's different people calling. So that eventually they'll
give us the number, and we'll call them.
Apparently in my area there are like historical reenactors who do like medieval combat. Now I'm in no condition to undertake that sort of thing. I don't want to spill my sherry, but I wonder if that means that the wargamer quotient in the area is higher than I expected.
Could be. With something like that, go approach those guys and say, "Hey, you guys, war gamers." I've done that before. I've walked up.
I mean, I do that stuff, but they didn't have monocles back then. So,
oh shit!
Yeah, I think that every one of the issues we talked about so far, we if we spend 30 minutes in a month trying to do something, we could add to the potential new players. Even if we never meet them, I think that I'm personally gonna do some stuff this year to
maybe we can approach some game companies too and say, hey, look, I live in this community, and I'm trying to get a game night or something. Would you be willing to, in the library,
GW,
a set or something?
GW actually do that if you're a school.
Yeah, you know what, Jackie's
they're very
used
generous.
To have that.
They're very generous like that. Surprisingly, like if you're legit and you're running a games club at a school, that's they'll help you out, no question.
Didn't we have something like that pre-COVID where the schools and D&D were giving out free stuff and starting clubs and things like that? Jackie's school
but you had to wear a dress. It was weird.
Jackie's school had a 40K club and I think a D&D club. The year before he went to high school, which was also the year of the thing, and now it's no more.
Are we not supposed to say that word?
I just like
you know what? Like, I'd rather forget.
You're not allowed to say the word if you're like a high profile YouTuber like Sticks Hexenhammer. They have. If you got 100,000 subs, you got to call it the EIU, like Terrence Pomper. You got to call it the Coons.
I love Terrence.
Okay, guys, I'm going to mention one thing, in which Brian was talking about. Our local library does go, and David, who's our librarian, gets games donated to the library, not just from Brian, but also from GMT and things. The problem with GMT is their games are like 40-page rule books, which is hard enough to get someone in there.
So he does like the Shawshank Redemption thing where he just writes all the companies and gets them to do stuff. I like that.
He got it. He gets I mean, we're talking like $100 board games, and they're donating like 5 or 10 of them. And
really,
yeah, I think every month there's like a raffle, and it's free. You come to the event, you put in a raffle, and like one of the prizes was Cthulhu Must Die, like the whole
that's
set,
the yearly
all the
thing,
expansions and everything.
That was a yearly thing. But
Yearly? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was it. But he gave away all free dice. If so I got 2. One with my son. But I mean, they got like the whole Kickstarter. It was like, and I know Brian's talking about Cthulhu Must Die. That was number 3. The first one had something like, what was it, 8 boxes with it if you won. I mean, and that's not all the games that he gets. He gets and he said he would love to get more Mutant Claw Classics. But let's be honest. We can talk all we want, but is it cool for your 18 to 24-year-old to hang out with 50-plus-year-old men? The answer is probably not.
Yeah. I like that, Al. I'm gonna talk to my local libraries Monday and find out if they do, if they don't, and what can we do. At least Jackie and I to maybe even I'm gonna take a look. I like my local library. Every time I go there, I walk away with a stack of books for like 50 cents a piece. I picked up the Dragon Riders of Pern series and some other things, and I'm just like, you might as well just be giving these away. If I had a bigger, like 2 more arms, I would have carried out more books.
I have a lot of respect if any of you guys can pull it off. Like personally, I don't really want to teach school kids how to play games, but there are 2 things that I definitely can put on the list. Like, one, I definitely want to make a battle report for a particular game that I think has kind of fallen by the wayside and in some ways kind of
what is it?
Platonically perfect war game, which is Hordes of the Things.
Oh yeah, dude, it's a great game.
And the other is I got my girlfriend's friend, her son really wants to get into role playing, so I kept saying like, have him over. I'll literally buy him a starter set and we'll run it and he can take it home. You know what I mean? Like any game, I don't give a shit which. Like 5e, fine, I'll read that. Like whatever, fine, we'll do it.
Yeah.
But those are my 2 projects. I want to champion Hordes of the Things and bring it back because I have heard they're doing version 3 that's going to bring DBA, troop types, and Hordes of the Things together.
That's cool.
Giving you
Cal,
more
what
options.
con? Just send me a link to this con because we're in the same state and it might be within my window of opportunity.
And that's another thing, cons. I fucking love cons because, if it's like, it needs to be an open con. It needs to be like people, don't charge people to host games. And that the reason why is people bring stuff up there that they love. Okay. Not just what people want to see or play. They're going to bring up stuff that they love. So it's like, get them in for free. So you have all these different game masters bringing up different shit, and people will see the diverse, gaming out there. And then they might fall in love with that game or that genre or whatever, man. I love convention.
Also, the other thing is like you can still play like really popular games that don't cost a lot, that don't necessarily mean you're locked into Warhammer. Like bolt action is huge. You know what I mean? Like you'd be surprised how many bolt action players there are out there.
If I owned a store, that would be one that I'd always push. It's the lowest commitment next to a board game itself or the Lord of the Rings game.
And they got literally every faction for bolt action. For example, I play the British Union of Fashion.
What's up, dude?
Hey, sorry it took a while to get you here, but
do you do
it's
British
usually first
Civil
come,
War
first serve.
kind of, do you do like a British Civil War kind of alternate history version.
Sometimes, yeah, I've done that.
I think I'd do
that's a great source.
I think I'd do Brits and Italians in the desert because the Italians have some really wacky tanks, like one man.
Oh, but they actually
mechanical
produced
debris.
Oswald Mosley and his black shirts.
Yeah, Warlord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hell, that's
Okay.
a freaking fantastic idea.
They produced everything.
I need to get some paper so I can write this shit down.
They had a what do you
That was
call it?
just- that was just
Dad's
the other day.
Army box set for a little while.
Yeah, that's what we
I don't know
used,
if I could. I feel like I'd be
used for the
wasting my
opposition.
money a little bit.
that and a bunch of they had some cops, bobbies for a while. So you
Mm-hmm.
put them and Dad's Army on one side and the British Union on the other.
I mean, there's a whole weird World War II thing right there. Do the
I
Operation
like
Sea Lion.
the artisan designs. I really like the artisan designs. Pulp and World War II figures. They kind of go well
great.
together.
All their stuff is great,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. I sent Shadow like just a few, but
Oh, you sent them some?
I sent him
You
just a
can
few.
use that shit.
and
You send them
I
this
got him,
way.
like,
I'll use
I
it.
got him like a French resistance chick and like a German spy dude, and then some like German like robot dudes, and like
Oh, I saw those robots. Those are sweet.
couple
I
of
need to get some of
American type soldiers from Kelly's Heroes,
Ooh.
sort of. Yeah.
Oddball and yeah.
So what was
Kelly.
it? Like $50 worth of miniatures, about 800 worth of shipping.
It was like 40 cents worth of miniatures and like $2,000 worth of shipping.
I know. I'm gonna get you back though. I got your Christmas present already wrapped. Well,
But
not wrapped
just remember, it was only 40 cents worth of lead. So, like, that's
hey,
the stupid thing about it.
Shadow, I'm going to be delay on your second big one because I have to get a piece from my printer. So
Yeah,
I
I heard. Just wait till you're ready, and if you need a little more,
No, I don't need that. I need a little bit more time.
Did your screen go out?
The what is it? The FAB? Yeah, the FAP.
Yeah.
Like me being a newbie to this 3D printing shit, I had an extra one, but I guess I had two, and I didn't separate them. And I put both of them in, and I screwed them all in, and I was getting all mess ups, and then I realized I put two of those screens on, and I took one off, and I tried to put one back in to fit it, but the shit's leaking because I've already put the holes in it. So I just need to get another FAP or whatever cover. They're not that much.
Yeah, you also don't have to get the ones from the same company. It's just a generic. If you really look, you can buy like a 80-foot roll of the stuff.
Oh yeah, and just cut
but
it.
It's like $200.
Oh shit!
But
okay,
it'll
so
last
5
you
hours
permanently.
away.
Yeah.
5 to 6 hours away for me.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, so we're also talking about getting people into the gaming. Shit. If you know people that have 3D printers for whatever reason that aren't gamers, shit. There's no reason why they can't be gamers now with a 3D.
Yeah, Celtic Miniatures comes to mind there. In that case, you do a lot of old school prints. You do a retro fitting to the game, and then you can play any edition of Warhammer you want on the cheap.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure about the whole printing thing, but a friend of mine's really convincing me, especially because the hardest thing for me, like I really enjoy painting, but I hate preparation and I hate putting things together. But
very rarely.
I do too.
That's the part that it's really the only phase of the hobby that kind of saps me of my motivation and kind of really screws with my injuries and stuff like that. Everything else I can kind of get by. But like someone's really convinced me. But the other thing that really won me over is this week I saw, I don't know who made it, but you probably should be able to find it fairly easily. Is like someone did an undead pirate army, and it just looks so sick.
Oh,
that sounds like
it just looks awesome.
That's one thing I'm surprised I've never seen come out from a company. Like I don't recall any manufacturer releasing an undead pirate army.
Splintered Light have done some,
yeah,
and
actually Reaper Bones
Reaper.
had a crap
Reaper.
ton of undead.
They got a
fighters.
crap
Yeah,
ton of
Reaper
undead
has
I
fighters.
also like me being
I've never seen
the
them.
perv that I am. 3D printing allows me to get minis that are completely triple X that I can use in my wargaming.
Yeah. Horn dog.
So, I know some of you guys are, you know, a little prudy.
Congratulations on your marriage, by the way, Brian. Salutations.
Does Mel know you're thinking about a miniature journey?
Yeah.
But I am Weird World War II, so we're talking, you know, all the grindhouse stuff. So that's completely viable in my gaming.
That's all right. I'm gonna do some naked goals at some point. I'm gonna buy the naked goals. But I'm gonna save some of them and I'm gonna turn them into like goblins.
Brian's minis banned at the library.
Dude, yeah, don't let this. No, but you know, it's funny. Diver, I had found some. I can't remember who the guy was, but they were female orcs.
No, that's blasphemy.
And they were
Orcs
massive, just like Dolly Parton size. They're fantastic. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Dude. They're great.
Oh.
That's blasphemy. Orcs sprout out of holes in the ground. They do.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's still. I think it's still a boob.
Reproduce through human means.
But
although they do unzip their pants to reveal their pieces to take a piss on goblins once in a while, you know. Goblins standing there going about his goblin life.
Consumption of human DNA and evolutionary pressure.
True.
That is to say, like defeated orcs becoming like more feminized over time.
No,
you know.
They're hanging around the humans too much. You know,
I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. Okay, I've got pictures. I've written quite a lot on this subject. I'll send you some material.
If an orc loses a battle, they got to put 2 squibs on their chest.
Yeah. But eventually,
the more they lose, they get bigger.
Due to the intense Darwinian pressures of like deep space combat, like the squigs are no longer necessary, and they're crying out of their milk bags.
Well, that's why there's so many squigs and like rattlings around for whatever needs to be done with the orcs.
They become walking spore factories. Anyway, I've done quite a lot of. I've collaborated with a Japanese artist to do all the diagrams. I'll send them over.
There you go.
He's just taking some pre-existing anime and shading it green.
Pretty much. I need that good art content, like I'm from Jersey. I work really hard. I'm Irish. I love the Boondock Saints. But the thing that I love most is art content. She's got to have.
I love that. Have you ever seen that?
No, where's that from?
Can you link that in Discord, James?
I'll see if I can find it. Art content,
Oh,
she's got to have a really big,
it's pure gold.
You've got to have a really large orc hood. Yeah, it's like one of the Stranger Things.
Orc content.
Have you ever seen it?
No. What is this?
It's just basically that thing he did. A guy is walking around the street talking about how he likes orc freaking.
Yeah, we've been in Boston for like.
So the next meme will be, instead of thinking about Rome, it'll be thinking about orcs. How often do you think about orcs?
It takes a turn.
Too much.
There's a new T-shirt for you, Justin. How often do you think about orcs?
Is that like your other? What's your other T-shirt? It says "I'm pro LGBT. Let's go bomb Tel Aviv." Like,
no, I don't have that one.
Oh
yeah.
I got you. He's taking notes and shit right here.
Yeah, I'm taking notes, guys. Hey, I've got
you
a
should
stack
put
of
like
notes.
you should put like a Houthi.
I've got a stack of notes from the last couple of episodes. I get so many great ideas from you guys. I'm definitely gonna do some of these things because I love this hobby so much. I've been I've been playing since I was 13, which is, in some cases more than some of you guys have been alive. And
well, all of us combined.
Right. I didn't want to say that. I figured one of you guys would hit me with that. I've done a lot over the years to like I was telling Omen, I've turned people on to certain books and handed out my copies, knowing full well only your friends steal your books, and I may never see that book again. But thankfully, the book we were talking about, I still have. But I'm going to hand out some stuff this year for none of you guys, of course. But Jackie's friends and things like that. And his game got canceled today, and he was kind of bummed.
I just want to say one thing. Sorry to just sidetrack, but L, if orcs look like Brie Larson from the forehead down, I'd be thinking about them all the time.
All right, hold on. I don't even know who Brie Larson is. Now I got to do another
Captain Marvel.
Oh,
from the forehead down.
Yeah,
forehead down.
Yeah.
He was terrible looking.
From the forehead down.
I get you.
That caveat in there.
Oh, one would not. No.
Oh, you were saying Shadow. Sorry for such.
I'm going to do some stuff. I hope you guys will, find, somebody, even if it's just one person this year. This year's almost over. Turn somebody on to something or hand off something to them so that they can.
So hey, man, you said the words, dude. I had to just.
Hey, the old vernacular from the 60s.
How do you get bow chicka wow wow from handoff?
No.
It's time he got his craps, man.
It's from turn on, I think.
It's like Diver. If I have to explain it to you, I need to we need to have a private conversation. I just send you some websites, brother.
Some websites, okay. Well,
So
I am familiar that there is
bees, and they got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah,
right.
That content.
Or
well, my mind just doesn't default to gutter mode.
How is it gutter, man? I mean,
James,
let me hand you off a book. Bow chicka wow wow. I mean, hey, when you're at the store, I'll hand you
quality,
off this brick of dice.
You know that quality of war content when you can see her shvooya deal.
I was thinking he was from Boston.
Killing me, Omen. Suddenly I'm freaking starving. I just had a giant plate of chilaquiles, and now I want to go downstairs and make a fucking sandwich.
Well, this is because I'm eating ribeye steak right now. So.
With
I had steak for dinner too.
Yeah, I didn't have any.
It wasn't
I
ribeye,
actually had
it was sirloin, but okay.
I had
Yes,
cold
Brian
dinner because I live in Australia.
You guys have cows in Australia? Is that a thing?
No, I had a little lump of coal.
Hey, Brian, there's a comment up there for you.
I thought you had to defeat your place by putting a
Hey,
kangaroo on a hamster wheel.
sometimes it pays the bills.
George Santos has an OnlyFans addiction. That's my president. Anyway, I gotta go, guys.
All right, see you later, James.
Take care,
free
James.
up
I
a
will
Brady
talk to you
Bunch
Wilson.
window. Bye.
See you later, man.
Oh yeah, man. Who did I find out how
He's so
had an
funny.
OnlyFans?
Guys, now that he's not here and he's probably not listening, we got to get that fucker to make a channel. That guy is one of the funniest guys I've ever met. I've been on this planet for a whole lot of decades.
So fast.
You know what?
Rumble
Then
channel.
make a new channel. Yeah, I don't care.
I,
You know,
I don't mean by the platform. I mean by his government.
Yeah, that he might be in danger. We might be in danger.
Oh yeah, Australians. They're even they're like you're not allowed to swear over there and everything like that. They're real sensitive.
They're sensitive.
Yeah. Either way, we got to get him to make a channel for as long as it lasts. Mirror it over to Rumble so that as soon as his first video's there, within 8, 12 hours, whatever it takes, he's backed up over there, and we can, at least have it for, posterity's sake until, Rumble caves in as well, because, that's only a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
What did you talk about today, Diver, on your show? I missed it.
I was so riddled with technical difficulties, I didn't get to talk about much. It was a 38-minute show, and it cut out every 5 minutes because
the hell?
OBS. I had so many bugs on OBS, and I was trying to get through those bugs. I'm going to do another test tomorrow. It'll be random when I do it, so don't even worry about it. I delete them right when I'm done. I like the last test I did got worse. And I was crashing. OBS was crashing. It crashed 5 times in 8 minutes.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't use any of that. I'm just working off a laptop and StreamYard, and I never have any issues anymore. Knock on wood.
Yeah, but using OBS
I know, the
allows you
quality
to do more
shit.
stuff.
Can you use StreamYards with 2 cameras? I think they only allow 1 camera.
You can open up another, like you can, instead of having one of us on,
yeah,
you could have your other camera, and then make that. There's a bunch of templates down at the bottom, and you can choose like a large platform for a particular feed. So you could make that one the full screen and just have your head off on the side.
Yeah, I'd have to look into it. I'm gonna give Rumble a shot, and then if that doesn't work, I'll try doing it through StreamYards and see if that works. I'm just the way I'm doing it now because I think I've got it. I think I've got it down. I've done all the resets. I've gotten all the warning labels off. I've watched 2 videos that were related to this, and that was all I could find. And I think I've gotten through it all now. So, I just got to try it one more time.
I tried to do a live show on Rumble, and it didn't do anything. But I'm pretty tech dumb, so.
So am I. I mean, it's just you gotta see. I'm gonna see if I can just work through the bugs, see if I can get it to work. That's about all I can do.
Yeah.
Jackie and I have been talking about doing a completely different kind of channel, and it definitely wouldn't fly on YouTube. So I'm gonna have to.
What kind of channel?
Political.
Political. Probably called Religion and Politics, just to really make heads explode.
Oh. Yeah, I probably wouldn't watch that one.
Really? No kidding. No, it's okay.
I used to be big and all that shit. It just fucking drives me crazy.
It's funny because I used to not be into that thing, and then one day Jackie was born, and I saw what was going on, and I'm like, I need to pay attention. And,
I made life decisions to minimize that shit. I homeschool my kids.
Yeah. So
I introduced them to what I thought was appropriate at the time, and we talk about I'm not some fringer. I mean, I tell them the reality of everything, and ultimately it's up to them to make the decision. What they believe.
I mean, you guys have all met Jackie. I thought about homeschooling, but you know what? He's actually gone to public school his whole life, and he got real lucky with the first school he went to, K through 8, and it was a dual immersion school. And at first I was like, yeah, this is not going to turn out well, And boy, was I wrong.
What's that?
Half the day English, half the day Spanish.
Oh wow!
And I mean, you guys have all met him. I don't know what happened, but it all turned out really well. And now
do you speak Spanish?
Who, me?
Spanish? Oh yeah.
No.
Why not? Did your wife speak Spanish?
Yeah, because I'm an ass.
Okay.
I understand quite a bit, but I play dumb because I've been watching Jackie's family do the same shit for 20 plus years, and it kind of irritates the shit out of me. It's like, okay, you've been here 20, 30, 40 years, and you haven't tried, but then you give me shit for not trying, and I did try. I learned a bunch long before I met his mom, and it's just kind of irritating. they're like, learn Spanish. And I'm like, there are folks here who would say something, but I'm going to be nice. And I'm just going to play ignorant. Because I've been to Mexico a couple of times. I went to Mexico by myself on a bus without speaking almost a word of Spanish. I was there like almost 2 weeks.
Where'd you go?
Creole, Chihuahua, kind of deep in.
Yeah.
And I made it back out alive. Mind you, going across the border, I actually pretended to be a doctor so I could get, better seats and things like that. I was a real ass. But and then coming back across the border, I didn't go with a passport or anything. This was like 25 plus years ago. And when I came across the border, like, you have a passport? I go, no. And they're like, what's in your pocket? I go, pesos. You got any proof? You're an American. I'm like, seriously. They're like, get the fuck out. Yeah.
You got any proof you're in America? Did you check the color of my skin and now I'm talking to you? Yeah, that's pretty hilarious.
I would have replied, "Si, senor."
But in Canada, aren't they pretty tight up there on the border? You can't just go in. I think we'll let them in. I think we're allowed to let the Canadians in at Bangor, Maine, to go shopping at the outlets, and that's about it.
You guys see that fucking car? Like,
we used to be able to just walk
that curve.
Yeah, that blew up. Yeah. They are not telling us what really happened. I'm just going to say that and leave it there. Because I heard a bunch of different things from a bunch of different people, and then the next thing I know, the story completely changed to the most innocuous,
Yeah. Shadow, I put something in the private chat if you're interested.
Oh, I was wondering. I'm actually painting, folks. So if I, okay, can I?
It should be safe. Everything that's inappropriate is censored. So.
Can you guys see it?
No.
I see the link. Yeah.
Okay, I'll stay for this, and then I'm out. I'm out after this.
It's only about 4 minutes. It's what James always.
And you look like you're gonna run off Diver.
No, I want to go up and lay on my couch. I just finished painting this guy. I tried to paint online twice, and I'm like, well, it's just might as well finish him. I was going to show the world how I painted my Praetor, but
go for it. You can show it off here.
Yeah, show it.
Oh, he's a little small, but let's see.
I'll just make you big.
It's genetic.
All right, let's see how big it gets here.
All right, you're okay.
All
You're
right.
full size.
I'm full size. He's a little
Full
dark.
size Holy Diver.
Yeah, he is a little dark.
He's a little dark.
Imperial.
I mean, you
or
think that
Chaos?
all miniatures.
He's Iron Warriors, and this is 30K.
Okay,
You know
I
what,
was
though?
gonna say
I'm going to
'cause-
say as much as you need to have more brightly colored capes. This whole black thing is just overdone, from a distance.
Oh, well, I have his bodyguard unit right here. It's these giant, grim-looking black robots.
Nice.
And I got to paint one more of those guys, and he's got three of these Hammer brother guys that are going to go into battle with him, and that's how the Iron Warriors roll.
Those are
I
nice.
think the
freaking
guys
models,
who
dude.
turned just all silver after the war were like just metal colored. Are those
Well,
the
they were
same
always
guys?
metal colored for some
Oh,
reason.
okay.
I don't know all of that, but I have one more of those to buy and paint, and I just figured I'd get them up since they're done. I might as well get him done. Throw that unit out there, goes into the bottom drawer, and I don't have to worry about it for a little while. I'm still a long ways out for this army. I've got to get a Land Raider Proteus, I guess, and just
Telling you. Hit Colts, dude. And I bet you somebody that has a printer.
You just need the 3D printer knockoff of a Predator.
I can't
Hold on,
do the
nerds, I'll get
3D
you here in just a
printer.
second.
What do you call it? I could never own one because then I would never leave my house. I would literally go bankrupt because I'd be cleaning off the flashing from the leave behinds on that thing. No, it's not for me. I mean, I've had people offer to print me stuff all the time, and it's just I have to monitor what I take in, otherwise it becomes a huge problem.
So what you're saying is Games Workshop because their prices are limiting your
It
obsession.
limits your There you go.
No, they have not limited my obsession. Their prices aren't an issue for me. And I'm not money guy either, by the way. It's just I got no kids, and I'm in some good income earning years. So when I had a little row with the Ranger one time. When you lose an auction on eBay, you lose it to a guy like me because you pay child support and I don't. And he's like, so noted.
No, I'm gonna mention one other thing though. And I've seen these. These look really cool for fancy miniatures. It's the Conquest miniatures with their dinosaurs.
Yes.
I'm like,
those are cool.
I have a Conquest regiment sitting right next to me right now. They're all done. I just got to paint their bases.
I just saw the giant Diplodocus or whatever it is out there.
The Brontosaurus burgers. Yeah.
The which ones? Yeah, those are amazing. Looking at those, it's like wow.
That game is really fun too. By the way, it's actually really good.
Game?
Conquest: Last Argument of Kings.
Who makes that?
Parabellum makes it. I was thinking about going down to Vegas for a tournament on it and everything.
All
Let's see if I can get that.
You're not too far from Vegas, are you? In Utah?
No, I'm not. It's a 6-hour drive.
That's not bad.
If you're driving a semi down there, it's an 8-hour drive, and I love it. I love it when I meet these drivers who are like, "I make it down there in 5 in my dirt truck," and I'm like, "No, you don't. The hills won't let you do that, you dumbass."
Do you do any like cross country with your big stuff? Or are you more local?
No. So there was one job that I quit immediately when they roped me in, because they'll lie to you. They'll bring you in and then they'll lie to you later, like, well, how come you don't want to go to Nebraska? Because you said I never had to go farther than Jerome or Boise. Well, I'm changing the deal. Well, I'm quitting this job. You can't do that. Well, I don't have to do something that I don't want to do.
Wait. That's what you say. I'm a single man with no bills, and I can do what I want. Yeah.
It was it was more or less. What are you going to do? Fire the one guy with no kids and no car payment? Oh God, whatever will I do? Bring it on. It's November.
That the Heralds of Thunder for that 2,000-point army. I'm like, oh, that looks so nice.
Their 2,000-point army boxes are actually a really screaming deal. Just be prepared that if you ever build anything by Parabellum, they have big, huge, ugly knob connections to their models.
Oh yeah.
And so you're gonna have to bring a little bit of a file there, and you're gonna need a nice set of you'll need a nice set of fine clippers.
So what is your biggest miniature that you've got out there, Holy Diver?
The biggest miniature I got is probably just my Stompa, but
okay,
that's pretty cool.
That's probably and then a couple of tanks that are pretty good size. I don't really count terrain, but the Stomp is probably the biggest one I've got.
How big is a Stompa?
A Stompa is roughly about a foot tall. I'll go get it. It's right there. Hold on.
See, that's what I wanted him to do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I know exactly how big they are. I just wanted it on camera.
Okay. So you and I are the same mind there.
Okay, so I got to make him big again. Is that what you're saying there?
Yeah. Let him show off his toy.
Hey, no problem. No problem.
I mean, but I'm looking at this one that's the.
I pick a chicken bow around myself. Man, I'm crazy.
I mean, this. I still find it funny with the Tantor wire drone. It says that it is 38 millimeter, height is 24 centimeters, width is 15 centimeters, and length is 27.5 centimeters. So
that's a centimeter.
What's a centimeter?
How do you not know a centimeter, Mister? I play, in Europe, World War II.
Yeah.
I'm American.
I'm Canadian, and I don't even know what a fucking centimeter is, bro.
Yeah, no one knows.
Really?
I use that math system, and I don't know what it is. I actively use it. And
it's like a half an inch. No, it's
no.
It's a 40% of an inch. But no, I mean, when you look at that, if it's 27.5, I mean,
damn, that's a beast.
Yeah,
That's a
almost
chonker.
A foot long.
Yeah,
I think
so this is about a foot with the stacks and everything, but
Yeah.
this is a
You got
Stompa.
the Misfits on there. That's
I
sweet,
freehanded that on, and then I had this one guy at a store say, "Is that the only freehand you know how to do?" And I'm like, because I put it on 2 orc shields that I put on a diorama too.
That's all you need.
Downside, I'm like, that's all I need. I'm like, do you do anything but be a fat tub of shit your whole life?
He's like, shut up! Stop body shaming me.
Oh, wait a minute.
That was probably a toothpick too.
I mean, I gotta admit, those are those Imperial Knights, or is that a Warlord?
That's
Titan?
That's an Imperial Knight next to him.
Yeah, that's the Warlord is like way bigger.
No. I mean, with the new Legionnaire one,
This is a Knight Styrax. It's not the biggest one, but it's still pretty tall. I mean, like here it is next to a Dreadnought.
You can find those on cults for free.
Yeah, there's some of those on cults I've seen.
Well, I just saw that they're doing that Legion Imperial or whatever the new one is, which is basically Epic Space Marine again. And they're having the Warlord and the Psi Titan, and I was like, those look cool. But
yeah, but it's like 8mm instead of 6 or something like that.
Yeah, kind of a pisser. But I've already got Aeronauticus and Titan Legions, whatever they renamed that one as.
all you people in your 28mm, that's only for painters. For those of us who actually like
Because it looks
big
fucking
battles,
cool on a tabletop, man.
No, a painter goes for 32mm.
A painter goes for 54. Damn it.
Yeah, 54.
Or 90 or 90 mil.
140, maybe 120.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, Bird, you
as a shoe painter, I prefer 1-to-1.
Like this is like I'm putting the fucking highlight on myself here.
No. That's what the airbrush is for. All right,
Take care,
honey,
Grandma.
well,
We'll see you back.
You don't need any. You don't need any clothes. I'll make it look like
See you,
you
Grandma.
have some. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the biggest thing I have. Shit, I don't even know.
You got pygmies.
Fucking pull out.
You got pygmies. So the biggest personality on your
Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm sorry. You need to show those off more. Those are just fantastic miniatures.
Which ones?
So I'm looking
The
at some of this
pygmies,
Legion
dude.
Imperialis right now. Okay.
That's currently my biggest mini.
Man, I wanted that thing, but some jerk face got it.
I don't know. I don't know how big my mini is because I don't want to have to assemble them because I don't want to have to move and have to break it apart. Is the Kingdom Death stuff?
Man, I don't even know what my big is. Shit.
Now,
you got
terrain-
Mecha Hitler. You don't need anything else.
It's true. I got a Mecha Hitler.
You need a Hitler with a gorilla body.
With a girl, I've got some girl bodies
Actually-
I can do that with.
Hey, Brian. Here's the problem: is
Hitler?
you have Hitler and he's putting the gun in the wrong place. It should be right there.
Oh,
You know?
that's wrong, bro.
It's the only time he pulled a gun in the last 40 years. No, it's just.
I've got a zombie Hitler, and he's got a bullet hole in his head. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
Is that the Reaper version?
Yeah, the Reaper one. Yeah.
Did they ever come out with that game, Reich, for Reaper? Did they
Reich
ever
of
do
the
that?
Dead. No, they. I talked to the owner at the time when he was thinking about doing it, but it just fell through. Other shit came up. They started. They were just starting talking about doing that Bones stuff, right?
Oh, that was a while ago.
That was a while ago, and they decided to just do the Bones, and it just kind of fell apart. But I have some of the artwork, what the cover of the rule book was going to look like. It was done by Wayne England, the guy who did all the covers for the Pathfinder Second Edition books. It looks fucking awesome. It looks great. But yeah, they just kind of, a lot of the lines that they were gonna do or games that they were gonna do that they just didn't. They put in that Chronoscope line.
Yeah,
That's
I
why they have
love
like
that.
Old West and World
That's
War
my
II.
favorite line of Reaper minis.
Yeah,
Believe it or not,
sci-fi
I love
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
I should actually go through and see if they released anything recently because I haven't bought a Reaper mini in about 2 years. And they're one of my favorite miniature companies of all time. They've got We've got great people and great work, and I just hope they stick around for a while.
So I don't know if you missed it when I was talking on my channel earlier, but I was up in Dallas talking to a couple stores, and I was asking, like, no one was carrying any Reaper, or very few Reaper, right? Because remember, back in the day, Reaper would always have a turnstile full of minis at every damn store on the planet. And I asked him, I'm like, so what's up with Reaper? And he's like, we order stuff, but they just don't send it to us. I'm like,
that's
what?
weird.
And he's like, yeah, we ordered, and they never sent us anything. And we called
You know
them,
why?
and they said,
I think I know why.
Why?
Because you're in Texas.
I
mean,
yeah, you have to do local pickup in Texas, aren't they? In the Dallas-Fort Worth area? Anyway?
Yeah, they're like in Richardson or something, aren't they? Or
I thought it was Denton.
Or they're in Denton. So they're
Well,
by
Denton's
the
about
UNP.
30 miles north. I mean, that's to be fair.
Well, anyway, gentlemen, you guys
That
have
would
a
make
good
it
night.
easier
I'm
for them
gonna
to
get out.
deliver.
I know.
Party on, bro.
No
Take it
worries,
easy, man.
HB.
Keep it weird.
Good seeing you again.
Always
I'll check
glad
out
to
the
have
show
you. Thank
tomorrow.
you.
Thanks for stopping by, brother.
But yeah, why
sleep? What is this sleep you talk about? Is that like a restaurant?
I tried to do that earlier.
Hey, look. As people get older, you know, they only can stay up to like 8, you know, and they have to go to lunch. They have to go to dinner at 4 p.m. You know.
Hey. How do you know my itinerary that well? No, actually, I have the boys dinner at 4 as soon as they get out of school. That way they can.
Oh, that was the first meal. This is like Hobbit meals for kids that age. You know, it's like 4 p.m., 6 p.m.,
lunch.
8 p.m.
That was a 11D's lunch or whatever it's called. Oh.
I don't know. I look at my son like, okay, go eat some more. Well, I got to make sure you always know something like, I have to eat before we go anywhere. You know, you got
Hey,
10 minutes.
nerd, what color is Marcus? Is he black fur?
I want to say Marcus is gray with a white belly.
Okay, gray. Okay.
Marcus.
Yeah, this is a special character from Dust. He's like, imagine he's kind of like a engineered 8 for like smarts. And
Okay.
Those big things on his hand are like power fists.
You see, now cut that head off and put a Hitler head on there.
If I could, shit. Maybe I can.
Why does it keep reminding me of Futurama?
Yeah, I think that's where
everything's in a jar. Yeah.
from. There was a guy with a gorilla body or something. Or
Yeah, there's
was
a
it
couple Marcus minis. There's one, he's got like an autocannon gun. And then there's this one. And
Yeah, that's not Marcus. That's
not?
that's a different gorilla.
Oh, okay.
Pay him whatever color you want.
Nerds
Is
keeping
that-
me fucking honest.
Yeah, that's Goliath.
Goliath, huh? Really?
Yeah, he's
'Cause
also
I have
way
the-
bigger than the other gorillas.
I have the card, but this is for Dust Tactics. So
I still feel cheated that my hope of getting the plastic miniatures for Monster Apocalypse would come in, but I know that's never going to happen.
you can get those on eBay, can't you?
He ordered
Well,
them. He paid for
Look,
them already.
I backed the
Oh, you paid
Kickstarter.
for them. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I backed the Kickstarter, and then
How does that work? If you give them fucking money, and do you get a refund?
No,
Then why do you do it? That's nuts.
because usually you can get, because they had a long track history of actually bringing things out. So I was like, okay, that's cool. But then they went under. That said,
How is that even legal?
No,
Just do a
it's not because-
chargeback. The company's gone. Get your money back. End it.
I mean, that's there's a certain point. It's like that's it. You can't go
Yeah,
back.
usually most banks that I've dealt with, they have like a 90-day limit.
Well, yeah, we didn't realize this until 6 months after the Kickstarter, so it's too late by then.
That sucks. I don't know. That's I keep hearing. There's this guy online. I can't remember his damn name, but he does all these videos about like that kind of shit where people are fucking, like these Kickstarters are screwing people over, and they're stringing them along and all this crap. And I'm just
Yeah,
like, why would you do
the first one I ever backed was a guy. He had 5 miniatures, a guy riding a bear, a wood elf, and a dwarf, and 2 other things. And
don't get me wrong, there are some good deals that you get with the Kickstarter. Like this is my Gloomhaven one.
Yeah.
This is like 30.
Wow.
This
You guys
is
are
30
hoarders,
pounds.
dude. You ain't even playing it.
Yeah.
Dude, you know how long it
Still
takes
in
to
the
set
box.
up?
Still
What's
in the
that?
box. Still in the packing box. Not even like the box. It's the packing box.
Yeah. Well, he had the 5 miniatures, and he didn't charge enough for shipping. And instead of sending the miniatures out, 'cause he had them, he showed them.
So I got this one, and finally my gambler's box from
Hold on,
Kingdom Death
and,
Monster came in.
Justin's telling us a story.
Yeah, because you walked away and I was filling the time. The guy, he had the photos, showed everybody, and instead of saying sorry I didn't charge enough for shipping, he just said I'm not sending this stuff out, and people were like, we'll pay extra for the shipping. He's like, nope, and he just kept being a dick.
Wow.
So I'm assuming the guy's got like 80 copies because like that's how many people back this thing or whatever.
You know, it's my experience is like if you're honest with people
Yeah.
with a fuck up, they're cool. They'll more than likely they'll say, "Oh, that's cool," you know, and just tell them, "Look, I just need 10 extra bucks to send them to you." I mean, and that's it. You know, like, yeah, I'm gonna have a problem with that.
The BattleTech Kickstarter ran to that same thing, if memory serves correct. And
really?
they kind of
BattleTech
sent
or
out a poll,
Robotech?
and they said BattleTech, the
Okay, good.
Clan Invasion Kickstarter,
That
and they
was the
sent out a
second one.
poll to everyone. It was like, we can either not ship these products at all and give you a discount in our store, or we can charge you all an extra $19 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Give people an option. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with this guy. It's like everybody in the Kickstarter understood, like, independent guy, he had some troubles, whatever. But instead of saying, okay, there's some delays because of this, and I need to charge you a little extra for shipping, he showed off the pictures of the box of miniatures and just said, fuck you.
That's weird.
Well, I mean, they can do that. Well, Palladium, they had that Robotech one that bombed for all their problems.
That one is literally legendary. In Kickstarter fails, that is the one that everybody goes to.
I thought the Dust one was a big legendary.
That one was also, yeah. I started playing just after that one, and it was all anyone was talking about was how badly it was messed up. I guess
And
everyone
believe it or
eventually
not-
got their stuff, but it took years.
Yeah.
Right up there, I've got the core box for Robotech, and it's freaking incredible. It's, I don't know, like 50 different, mech models, which are the same scale as BattleTech, I believe.
Yeah.
And I got it for Miniature Market for like $25, I think.
Oh, I love
And-
that place. Not anymore.
I know, right?
New owners now. They ain't fucking discounting worth of shit now.
It depends. Like everything else, I kind of wait for things. But no, it's Asmodee, I think, bought them out.
Oh, did they?
Asmodee, yeah.
Is that
if you
what
look at
Yeah.
Asmodee,
I know they got
has
bought
Miniature
out.
Market, but it also has Simon, Edge Studio, which is the one that's doing Star Wars and the Legend of the Five Rings.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you go online, you can look at what all the things that's under that brand, under the umbrella. You can
Really?
see like Fantasy Flight. Fantasy Flight is their board games, the Simon miniatures, Awakened Realms, which I didn't even think would be. That's under them also. Or is it Awakened Realms or whatever it's called? It's the one that they do the Tainted Grail and a couple of others. Yeah, they've got a bunch of.
Hey, what's up, Edgar?
So, but that said, is I'm still trying to, one last thing. I'm like, oh, do I really want to do it? Nemesis Retaliation. I just saw on Backer Kit.
What's that about?
Have you seen the first two Nemesis? Nemesis and Nemesis Lockdown?
No.
It's basically aliens. It's Alien, and this last one's going to be like Aliens. But you have different things, and they'll usually, you're not sure if you're infected or not, and you have to put the little card under, and it has but my friend, I kid you not, my friend has backed about 400 Kickstarters, if not more, of board games, up to the point that his house is like 2,500 square feet, and there's like every room has at least 40 games. His bathroom has board games stacked up. I mean, It is nuts out there.
And where does this guy live? No, I'm kidding.
You know what?
I was gonna go
he
to
lives
some
in
of his
Houston.
old friends and say, "Hey, you owe me."
Well,
This
wait a
guy
minute. He lives in
here.
Houston, and I have to go through security for his neighborhood. Like they take a picture of my, like I have to hand him my ID card, and they take a picture of my car, and then they'll open the gates to allow us in, which I find hilarious. But no, he does a lot of offshore stuff. So he's single. He has nothing to do. He just buys board games and plays games with his 8 siblings or however many siblings he has. You don't need this one, do you, Billy? I can take a couple of these off of your hands.
Like, oh, I forgot I had that one.
Oh, he did that. Actually, he went to Gen Con. He's like, man, that looks like a cool game. I said, I can't bring that back with me on the plane. He comes home and he finds out it's been delivered to his house. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot to back this one. He lost a couple because they got shipped to his work during COVID, and he couldn't pick them up, and he didn't realize it, or he was offshore, and so those are the only ones that he's actually lost. But yeah, it's though sometimes I've gotten pretty good deals off of the Kickstarter, so I can't complain. But
yeah,
at a certain point, you understand there's a risk. I try following people that actually have more than one campaign.
Well, the one I'm talking about, that I talked about, was the guy's first campaign, but it was a small thing, right? So I figured you'd be able to deliver. But
so, in your experience, is it the big guys that fail the most, or is it the little guys?
It's the big guy. Well, let me rephrase it. It's the ones that get a blow up, and then they promise too much. They try to over deliver, and they can't do it.
Yeah.
The one that worked out really well for me was OSE, because they basically were just trying to get money to print. They said, look, as soon as you do this, we'll, as soon as we collect the pledge, you can go. So that one is, I got that one within 6 months because they had everything ready to go. They just had to give money to the printer. And so that was pretty good. The one with Mythic Games, they already had all the miniatures and stuff ready to go. They were just going from resin to plastic.
Yeah, I heard Mythic Games is in real trouble right now.
Which one?
Mythic.
Oh, Mythic is, well, that's my point, is I'm never going to see that stuff that I put in. Yeah, Mythic was using their current Kickstarters to pay for their past Kickstarters because they overpromised.
Yeah, as soon as that happens, even once, they're going down the toilet.
Common thing now.
Yeah. And now the one that did Gloomhaven, they were pretty much ready to go. They're like, okay, if you get this is what. So the Gloomhaven box, which is the one I brought over, that was in pretty good shape. And then they also gave me, I'm sorry, that was Frosthaven. Gloomhaven came in, and that was 20 pounds. The bad one that I've had that I backed
is the hook for a lot of these just like numbers of shit that you get, like multitudes of the same thing, or is
it's usually the free stuff, which are called stretch goals. If they reach a certain tier of money, then you get a bunch of free stuff and the price. Like it's usually like 50% of what it's going to cost when it comes to market. So you're getting a 50% discount, and you're getting a bunch of free stuff. With Archon Studios Dungeons and Lasers, every time it is just a mountain of free stuff. They call it free, but it they know going into it that this is what they're gonna include.
Or they're supposed to know. That's the problem, is that they keep on putting the stretch goals so people will keep on spending more money.
Yeah.
And
is it your experience, like, even if those stretch goals aren't achieved, that they end up selling that shit later on anyway?
Sometimes with Archon, yes, and Flying Frog Productions, who makes Shadows of Brimstone, absolutely, just about everything eventually comes out. Their first Kickstarter, the very top stretch goal was this ghost train scenario and tiles for the game. And lo and behold, 11 years later, they finally brought it out, and it's the next Kickstarter. And I've been waiting the whole time for it, and I am so excited for it. The whole
Yeah.
it's just looks like a freaking blast.
I don't know if you're a company, if you're an actual company doing that kind of thing, and you don't eventually bring out that stuff like as pricey independent sales. I think you're leaving money on the table.
Well, part of it is Kickstarter is good to get the visual aspect. I think the great problem that you're having is a lot of people aren't doing is that they overpromise the stretch goals, and that's you're better off like what Gloomhaven did or the Frosthaven. They basically said this is it, and they're like, "Where are the stretch goals?" They're like,
Here,
"There are
Raven.
no stretch goals."
Where you
And they're
been?
That's why I'm really surprised that one guy didn't deliver, because it was just those 5 miniatures, no stretch goals, no nothing. He had like the art and all the stuff was sculpted and ready to go. It was just
I know.
and then deliberately thumbing like flipping off people that were like, bro, just tell me how much you need to ship it to me. I don't care that it's not like package. Just throw it into a damn box and put my address on it.
I don't
Now,
know.
if something like that happens, does Kickstarter like ban them for no longer being able to do, crowdfunders again?
They say they have things like that, but you can just create a new account.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yep.
They don't vet
Yeah,
it.
or you can go to Indiegogo or other places. I suppose I really don't know much about that.
I mean, like most things, is like, look, if you only have one thing behind your name, I'm probably not going to back it. The other part is if you're going to be, you start off small and you go up. That said, is I backed Awakened Realms, or what was it, Tainted Grail. I did that because I like the miniatures. That's probably what sucks in a lot of people. I did. I've done several of the stuff from Onyx.
Yeah,
they've delivered for the most part. I did some stuff from DCC. DCC delivers. I've been delivering the Conan one. They almost went under and they screwed up.
Modifius?
No. We're talking Monolith. Or no.
Okay.
So what Monolith did at one point is they were desperate for cash, and so they're like, "Well, we'll do this game," and no one did it. So they killed the Kickstarter. And all we said was, "We want the original Conan. We want the original Conan." And they're like, "Okay, we'll do the original Conan and reprint a lot of the things." And so they did that, and they got over $1 million for the Kickstarter. And they're like, "Oh, the people really did want this." So they're back in the black. But you can't. You have to have everything about ready to go. And what I prefer to do is whenever they're going to do a reprint. If you're going to do a reprint, you already have the molds, you have everything else ready to go. So the only thing you're really paying is you're paying the printer, whoever else is out there, and go.
Yeah,
that's true. You'll never see most of it's mass market release, or you might only see one or two things in mass market release. But I'm okay with it if it's otherwise, some of it, especially for prints, are the only other place you can get it is from Drive-Thru RPG, and you're not going to be saving
there's
any
always
money.
there's always eBay. I've only backed a half dozen, well, more like a dozen different Kickstarters, as in different places. Not like I've done all of the Archon Kickstarters, all of the Shadows of Brimstone Kickstarters. It's if it's a big thing, then you're probably going to be okay. But
look what happened with Darkest Dungeon, which is where Mythic got caught, and that was. But they were over promising, and that was the big problem that they have. But like I said, if it's a re-release, guess what? They already have everything done. They've got the molds. They've got the they've got the print, everything else. So that's usually pretty safe. And that's usually
I got a question for you guys. Do you think a lot of the hobby people that are in our hobby are reckless?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. I'll admit that for myself.
Because, again, I only play really, this one genre, and it's very small. So there's not a lot of, whatever. But, I just see people like, I hear stories constantly about these Kickstarters getting jacked, just playing the games that these companies just string them along, or they just we got to increase it, like GW, the people are okay with the prices, they still do it, they bitch and moan, but they still support it.
A lot of the marketing is based around FOMO.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Yep. Fear of
the-
missing out.
Yeah, fear of missing out.
So here's the other part that comes into it is, and again, they may never get reprinted again, but I've always waited until they're going to redo something. But for the most part, some of them, if they have a good track record, I don't mind too much.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think it's like? Do you think it's also has to do with like kind of like the mentality of
I
like?
still want those 5 freaking miniatures, man. The Bear Rider looked awesome.
It's just like the newest thing, you know, the new shiny thing, you know, like.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. Well, I'm going to bring up the other part here, which is while we're talking about this, my guess is that probably 90% of the Kickstarters actually that fund actually give you a product, whereas what we hear about are the 5 or 10% that don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we hear about the big ones. I mean, there's plenty. Like to be fair, is Justin mentioned a very small one. We're like, why didn't that go? Well, if you lose $50, you're like, I lost $50.
I think it was like
about
80, but
$450 a mine.
The thing that really pissed me off about that guy is like he had the product in hand.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and it's like
I know
you're just being a dick at that point.
Well, don't get me wrong. There's that too, but but like for me, and I mentioned this with the Kingdom Monster Death. Literally, I was supposed to get the like Wave 1 was supposed to come out in what 2017, Wave 2 2018. So I got those two because they already had all their molds. The Gambler's Chest was supposed to come out in 2020. I just got it a couple months ago.
Yeah, but there are reasons for delays in that.
I waited over 4 years for the Mutant Chronicles Siege of the Citadel board game, but because it was through Modifius, I knew it was going to be a thing. It was just a matter of time, and they did get hit with, COVID at the end of it. Same with Shadows of Brimstone. I waited a little bit less because I backed it as a late backer, but for the most part, having been through a 4-year wait, if it looks like it's going to be 2 or 3, I'll just forget about it and keep my fingers crossed. Think good
Shadow,
thoughts.
Kingdom Death was 2016. I just got Wave 3 out of Wave 4 a couple months ago, and so I'm probably going to look at 2025 before.
I really wish I backed that when it first.
Well, you say that until you had to wait like 7 years.
Well, no,
you can go on eBay. I've looked at it; it's out there.
Yeah, I've gotten things. I got like the ammo slave and the librarian, and
I want the milkmaid.
Yeah, well, some of those are the specialty stuff that they'll do, but I mean, now he's doing the retail. He says, okay, the Gambler's Chest was this much, but even at half price, I still think that I've gotten a good deal from everything that I have for Kingdom Death Monster, because
that's really what it all comes down to. Once you get it in your hand, all that other stuff kind of melts away. When I got the Shadows of Brimstone Kickstarter, it was like Christmas times 10 for me. I was in
Shadow.
That's what I'm paying right now.
For you specifically, Shadow, what is the tipping? See, I'm sincerely curious because I'm pretty unforgiving. I mean, I'm forgiving if it's reasonable, whatever it might be, but I mean, I usually don't commit to things without like really like. In other words, what is the tipping point where you're like, "Fuck this, fuck you"? What is going on? I'm done.
I've never had that happen, mind you. With Archon Studios Dungeons and Lasers. I had never backed a Kickstarter before, and I just saw this ad or whatever, and I saw it, and I just had this absolute total gut feeling. I went like, oh my God, this is the greatest freaking thing ever. Because it was dungeon terrain with walls and floors that snap together like Legos, super freaking cheap. And we ended up doing a commercial for them a while back for their Christmas special thing they did years ago, and I knew just from the very beginning that this was going to be one of those things. I don't know how else to describe it, but I'm with those guys until they literally turn out the lights, and they've just grown and grown and grown.
So a lot of I mean I know what you're talking about. Here's what it really comes down to. And people forget about this. It's not a pre-order. Kickstarter is not a pre-order.
No, it's a crowdfund.
It is crowdfunding.
So it's like a stock. It's like
it's
there's a risk.
really like
an investment.
No
It's an
guarantee.
investment.
Okay,
right, exactly.
okay.
That's exactly the way it is. Is it's you kind of putting your money in and you hope you get something out.
Okay.
That said, is ones that have good track records for the most part of the way to
Is
go.
that made clear? Like
Yes, yes, it
yes,
is.
it is.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like if me being
Yeah,
a
you
dumbass
sign a
not
waiver
knowing-
every time you
You pledge.
And they're supposed to put risk and things down like that. But I would, like a lot of people, it's like, okay, I'm always scared of, if you back on this and it's another thing that's another stretch goal that they haven't produced. But like for Goodman Games, guess what? You know what your stretch goals are? It's already printed material that they have out there that you get a discount on. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not a problem. Same thing with Onyx Path. For the RPGs, I've had no problems. The one thing I did have was Fun Again, which was not a problem with the manufacturer. It was a problem with the shipper. And I backed the store.
It literally is a gamble with 90% of the Kickstarters. The cool thing about it, though, is 90% of the Kickstarters, you're going to win. Or at least it's going to feel like a win when you see them put those same things, on the retail market for twice what you could have paid for it. And the shipping is another thing. The shipping is always, because you're getting a big old, giant, meter cube box, it's actually cheaper. I mean, when you try to buy these things individually, you're getting bent over big time for an individual box.
I think the problem, the guy that I had a problem with, is that he thought he could save money by doing that himself instead of going through one of the companies Kickstarter will hook you up with, and that is never the case.
No.
The company.
I think he scammed you. He had no intention of shipping. He found someone else to buy the minis after he made them, and he just came up with an excuse.
I don't know about that. Maybe that could be the case, but I've not seen them on the market anywhere, and there was enough of them
to be on the market.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how much did the Kickstarter actually fund, Justin?
It met its goal twice over at least.
No, yeah, but that could be $10,000. What is the actual,
Well, it's been a while since I'd have to go look at Kickstarter, and I don't have.
So I mean,
I think insert name here makes an interesting point. The first Kickstarter I got in on was the BattleTech Clan Invasion. I went all in. I got everything. I threw in extras. I made $20.
He made $20. That's cool.
I bought some extras of the legendary Mech Warrior star. I sold 3 of them on eBay for $120 each, and I paid off my entire Kickstarter and made $20.
Oh, good job.
Hell yeah.
That's what it really comes down to, is if you get something that people really, really want. Like, I'll be honest, these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what's going on right now. Why they did I don't know why they put miniatures in there. It's like, it's books. Just do the books and the artwork.
People like miniatures, right? It's
they
the
do.
point.
Well, it's just like the same thing I see people put up with dice. I'm like, no offense, I'm picky about my dice. I don't need any more dice unless they're specifically dice. Your little dice that you're throwing in there are not what I'm really trying to go for.
I don't know if I'm buying like a game and dice are needed in it, I want it in the starter box.
I mean, look, I understand there's specialty dice, but Justin, I literally have
it doesn't.
bag.
You're not everybody, bro. There are other people.
Look,
it's called the human race, not the Omenow race.
I know that's because I stand above you, and you live beneath.
I
my
got
wings.
really excited about dice in the BattleTech one. They had the section dice. I thought they were really cool. They ended up being warped and unusable, but I did like that.
Well,
I wouldn't extra money for it, but as an add-on for free, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, if there's really cheap, I don't mind. The problem that I'm having is a lot of times they're giving like, you can get these dice sets for $20. I'm like,
No.
It's it's one of those things that it's not that I'm against dice. It's just I would want my dice to be 25 millimeter, and I keep using 16 millimeter dice. I'm like, come on, people, get it big enough, where it feels like it's, I want to feel them in my hand.
I've been seeing these skull D6s online. I want to get some of those.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to say goodnight.
Wrap
I
up.
got to get to the other
All right.
show. But you guys, you want to kick back in the green room and continue the conversation. Be my guest. Everybody out there in TV land, thanks for showing up. This was a lot of fun. Next week we will have actually a little more concise topic. So Bo will actually join us. I know he's out there going, stick to the topic, but love you, Bo. But I think we, hopefully inspired some folks out there to go out there and
Go
hand
play
something
games.
off.
Go play games. Go play games in
Yeah.
public so people ask you, what game is that? That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thanks, everybody.
Especially if you're in a warm place, just go to the
Keep it
park
weird.
and take up one of the chess tables.
There you
Yep.
go.
Yep.
I was
yep. We
just
used to
thinking
do
that.
We
That
used
would
to
be
do that.
actually kind of cool. The only problem is that the wind.
Well, if you're bring some weights with you.
That's why metal minis are the best.
True.
You miniatures just need to be big enough, then they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. All right, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow
All
over
right,
on
see you
the
later.
Cigar DM show where we're gonna review the
Glory.
movie Glory. Can't
Glory.
wait to see that tomorrow.
You're the
again.
one that picked it, didn't you?
No,
I
I know,
might
but I
help
haven't
you that
seen it in
tomorrow.
years, and I will be watching it tomorrow morning. I will see you guys over there. Have a great evening. Thanks again, and as always, happy
Party
trails.
on all.
See y'all
Big
later.
Shadow.
Keep it
Make,
weird.
make sure you